said I was a footnote, background noise, a misfit, unimportant, too loud. Funny how that turned to kismet. Me and my truth, we sit real still, no sirens, let them scream in the daylight. Truth don't need alignment. I didn't want the headline, I saw the pattern. Opening my mouth made the whole room shatter. Try to keep it measured, flashing warning signs. Every time I spoke the truth, they called it crossing lines. I stayed out of the spotlight, studied every thread. Watched the story bend while they counted what I said. Never chased the platform, never begged the crowd. I was mapping all the quiet while they weaponized the loud. Not a drunk, but you can call me Boozey. There's a lot more here than simple beauty. It's my time, I'm showing you the real me. Formally introducing Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Daily in the gym, yeah, I build this body, but don't confuse the muscle with the mind inside me. Got the ladies watching when I teach that beauty, but the real flex is knowing exactly who I'm proving. It's deeper than looks, deeper than likes. I'm sharpening language, intellect precise, full play, firm lines, boundaries set. I light my soul up, I don't need their respect. While they were boxed in, my marching bold lies. I was face down, boxed in, hit from all sides. If they look beneath the noise, they see I never wanted fame, just wanted Pat seen. Not a drunk, but you can call me Boozey. There's a lot more here than simple beauty. It's my time, I'm showing you the real me. Formally introducing Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Snakes in the grass slithering in my phone. I walked out clean when the silence hit home. Diamond in the rough, no filter, no scene. Funny how the dirtiest hands claim pristine. Not a drunk, but you can call me Boozey. There's a lot more here than simple beauty. It's my time, I'm showing you the real me. Formally introducing Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. You can call me Boozey. Raising back on Rafferty's beauty. I've been here, now you finally see. Say it right, Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty. Boozey Beauty.
Hi, welcome in everyone. Hello to my live stream chat members, and hello to all of you at home who are on replay crew. Thank you for being here in what has been an interesting last 48 hours here in Norfolk County. Now, if you don't know me, if you're new here, welcome in. I go by the username Boozey Beauty, and I am a Norfolk County resident. What does that mean? Well, if you know the two Karen Reed trials, if you know the murder investigation of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, if you are aware of possibly the Sandra Birchmore investigation, her self-unaliving or her murder, yeah, that is what's going to be paving the way for today's live stream. We had an interesting new lawsuit that was filed on Monday that actually includes Stoughton, the town of Stoughton. Now, if you're not familiar with the town of Stoughton, it sits right next to what, chat? The town of Canton. And there's quite a bit of overlap when it comes to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, specifically the Massachusetts State Police that worked, or should I say work or worked, depends on who you're speaking of, which officers that are still there versus not still there. And this lawsuit has been the crux of my, we'll say research the last 48 hours, and things that have taken a turn If you were here last time from my live stream, I deeply went into a article from the Boston Magazine written by a journalist by the name of Gretchen Voss. And if you're familiar what's going on locally right now in Norfolk County, we do have an upcoming election. There was a lot of things in that article. It was not expressed as to be an opinion piece. However, it should have been because of the amount of misinformation and reframing that was done in that article. Again, if you didn't watch that 5-hour live stream, I have now put in chapters for you guys that want to go back and watch it. You click the different things that you want to look at, because this is what led me here today. And I'm sure you clicked on this because you saw the headline or the title of this live stream, which is Federal Investigators. They're in Norfolk County. And from my research, especially based off of my previous live stream when I gave a lot of info and I quoted quite a bit of information that's about federal investigations. And then specifically, I was able to clip some clips from a former federal investigator. He goes by the name of Michael Easter. So again, I'm basing a lot of my research from the last 2 days is based off of that, and based off of this new lawsuit that has quite a few new bombshells. So I hope you all have a snack, your favorite drink. It doesn't matter if you're here in the morning, in the afternoon, nighttime, like my live chat is right now here in Norfolk County, or if it's midnight where you're at. I'm just so happy you guys are here. There's a lot to get into. This is another well-researched live stream. I tend to do that, don't I? Yeah, I do. It's because I don't like being told I'm wrong when I know that I'm right. So I'm here to show you guys just how I came to this conclusion. So that being said, I want to say hello to some of my live chat members, as well as those who are new to my paid memberships. You guys are the best. Like, I already see you. Chat is like going crazy right now. So hi, chat. Hi, guys. So let me say hi to some of you, and then we are going to get right into what's going on in Stoughton and how that leads into Norfolk County, the federal investigation, all based off of Sandra Birchmore's case. It's going to be a good one, guys. Hope you're locked and loaded for this one. Oh, and there is some breaking news, but because of where this breaking news is coming out of, that's going to be towards the end of this live stream. So make sure you stay all the way till the end, because there's some more duckery going on, folks. Oh, and before I say hi to some of my live chat, I do just want to say, because of the verbiage and allegations specifically surrounding Sandra Birchmore's case, there are certain words that YouTube does not like. So if you hear me say certain words that aren't the actual like legal definition, as an example, I will be saying self-unaliving instead of the actual S word. That's simply because of YouTube. Unfortunately, that's just how the algorithm works pretty much on all of social media platforms. You name a platform, they don't like these words, especially when it comes to women's trauma. It is what it is for now, folks. It is what it is. So please roll with me. I'm trying to make this as PG as possible and also not as triggering as possible to those that might feel a certain way about Sandra's case. If you know what I mean, chat, you know what I mean. Okay, guys, let me say hi to you guys. Oh, Jane said she's here for the night. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Allie in Texas. I love seeing you guys. Like, I'm seeing all of the same names now. Music to my soul. Oh my gosh. Is that Michelle Props? Mish Props? Thank you. Thank you. Full of questions. Me too, Bob. I am full of questions. Hey, Jinxie. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, Sandra. Hello. I see my friend Mama M. Hello. Oh, hello. Zach, Prince of Wales, has made it. Hello. Granny Brackenpaw. Oh, Dublin, Ireland. The Irish have made it. I won't do it. I won't do it. Being on the South Shore of Massachusetts, you have a lot of Irish friends over here. We like to say off the boat, right? You guys are right off the boat. Thank you for being here. That's amazing. I love the Irish. They're so much fun. Hi, Quinn. Oh, we're talking about ice cream. Stones. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my God. Work nights. Hello. And I have Gail. There's so Chad. Chad, hello, hello. Do I see Amelia? Hello. You guys are so much fun tonight. This is a wild crowd. You guys honestly are so amazing to one another. It's like, I love it. Gen X, hello. With a bird. Can I do an English accent? I'm not the best at accents. And I think the only reason why I'm somewhat good at the Irish accent is because I have been pretty much surrounded by it my entire life. But we'll get into that another time. Oh yes, ice cream and boozy ladywags. Hey, you know what? They make alcoholic ice cream if that's your thing. I know a lot of you don't drink. Totally fine. It's just your thing. Let me see. I saw some friends, some moderators. Hi, E Chase. I think Emily, I saw you too in here. Rosebud. Okay, you guys are amazing. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you for being here. Let me say thank you to some people, and then we're going to get right into it, friends. RJH, I saw you before the show. You joined as a YouTube member. Thank you so much. Welcome to the club. As well as Kathleen, I saw you before the show too. Thank you so much for being here. This is wild. You guys are already, woohoo, crazy. Motions in lemonade. I like that. Hi. Found you a few days ago. You have the perfect personality for this. Thank you so much. You are entertaining and informative. Thank you for your hard work. It's a lot. Nice to know federal case will have honest information. I appreciate it greatly. And like I said, we will get into the thick of it. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Sunny Moon, for the laughing disco. I wish I could see the chat where all these things pop up. They crack me up. Silver Star from Laura. Is that Laura? Lura? Thank you so much for being here. Shannon, thank you for the flow state. Yes, everyone, make sure you breathe in, breathe out. We're going to be doing a lot today, my friends. Oh, Laura again with the flower. Tess Mac, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you. Hope you guys like the member emojis. Muserlina, I know you've been here before. Hello for the finger hot. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, I just said that with my Boston accent. I said hot. See, I told you, it just comes out every now and then. William, thank you for the 6-7. No, not the kids, not the 6-7. They really have that on YouTube now? Oh my God, that's wicked funny. That is so funny. Exhibit Alley. Oh my God, thank you. You, the humidity did its thing a little bit today, okay? We'll just say it. I got a little extra product in it so it doesn't go boom. So I don't get the poof of it all. Helena, you know, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you so much for being here. Simply Auntie Noni, she's back. Gold coin, thank you so much. Big Pork Chops, that's a wicked funny username. Funny fact, I used to watch the actual puppet pork chop, the little lamb. So cute. Turn it up, turn it up. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys, this is crazy. Nanny Can with the cutest puppy ever. Thank you for the flower. And Sammy with the silver star. Thank you. Katie did it with the sunshine. Thank you for bringing some sunshine today. We're definitely going to need it because it's raining here in Norfolk County. Sammy, thank you for the silver star. Oh my God, this is overwhelming. Oh my God, I need to zip it and get to the live. Okay. Thank you, Mirage of Reality, for the silver star. Pithy Screen Name with the sparkles. Sparkles, sparkles. One of my faves. Michelle Props, thank you for the finger hearts. And guys, if you hear a dog bark, they have been on one today. I got 2 loud dogs. I got a beagle mix and a husky mix. And right now my husky is doing her singing. So hopefully you can't hear her singing. She gets it from her mama. Jody Callahan, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you so much. As well as Bowl Cut Lineup. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God, I see 2 cute golden retrievers. Adorable, or they're labs. Those are Labradors. Those are golden labs. I stand corrected. Ramblin' Room, thank you for the sunshine. Oh, Kim, thank you so much. That's my friend Kim. I see her all the time in other group chats, live chats. You know what I mean. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Rosen, for the Unk Alert. I still don't know what Unk Alert is. Oh boy. Proud mom of 2 girls. Thank you so much for the Sunday. I also see you guys rolling in. Thank you for so much for being here. I have 1,000 on live. Please make sure that you guys like the live stream so YouTube knows that you like it. Papa, my friend, my gorgeous, gorgeous friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Love you always. And thank you, Sandra. Sandra or Sandra? It depends. It depends how you say it. Thank you so much for the gold coin. Okay. I got through it. I got through it. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yes, and thank you for supporting me. Seriously, like you guys, it's crazy. It's crazy. And especially when we cover cases like this that have a little bit more, I'll just say, triggering aspects to it. It can be a lot when you start looking into some of the behind the scenes stuff and you get tips and all of the things. And yeah, especially when it comes to women's trauma, which is exactly what this is all about, because lo and behold, we have the Stoughton police chief. She is, her name is Donna McNamara. And we're going to go through the history of Police Chief McNamara and how we ended up here today, not only with this lawsuit, but also confirmation that the feds are still in Norfolk County. Can I get an I told you so? Can I get an I told you so? Can I get an I told you so? I just know there's someone watching, probably someone's watching going, yeah, but they closed the case for John O'Keefe. You sure about that? You sure about that? Okay. So let's get into exactly what's going on right now. So Stoughton Police Chief Donna McNamara. Wow, 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 wow. I want to pull up something from one of my local news stations. Some of you know around here. I still call it Fox 25. I guess now it's just Boston 25. I don't know. I still call it Fox. I don't watch mainstream news, guys, unless I have to for like clips and whatnot, like I'm about to show you. So I'm going to pull up this clip, and this is from a big standout that they had on Sunday this past weekend, because it looks like the Stoughton Police Chief McNamara is being quite literally pushed out of her job. Why? Well, it seems like because she's working with federal investigators. So I'm going to show you just a brief clip so you can guys see what exactly is going on in Stoughton as of like these last couple of weeks. And you all in chat, or if you're on Replay Crew, type in what this reminds you of. It's crazy. Like, I feel like watching this stuff, I can't wait to show you guys all of this. I honestly felt like I was having deja vu. I was like, oh my God. It's like the same thing over and over again, still Norfolk County. But just a different town, the town right next to Canton. Okay, my friends, I'm going to put this on big. Oh no, now the dog has a squeaky toy. Okay, I'm going to mute myself for a second.
Mayor herself for the first time since this dispute started. Boston 25 News reporter Lisa Pappas met with her today.
This is an amazing outpouring of support, and I'm extremely humbled by it and thankful that they would all show up for me.
Do you still want to be chief?
Yes, absolutely.
Stoughton Police Chief Donna McNamara speaking for the first time since she says she was forced out of her job last week. She surprised this big crowd of people Sunday who came out to show support for her.
I love the town of Stoughton, and I have done that in my professional career. In my personal life, I've lived with integrity, and I plan to continue to do that.
McNamara's attorney says she was told to step down as chief after she filed a harassment claim against town manager Tom Coulter. The town manager has now appointed a new acting police chief.
She should absolutely keep her job. There's no way. He's just bullying her. He's not saying anything on why it's happening or what his reasoning is for doing this. And we really want to know. We want answers.
Many in town outraged by this sudden change in leadership. Jane McGrath says she sold out more than 100 of these T-shirts to show support for their chief.
She is just an incredible person. Unbelievable. She was instrumental in bringing out what happened with Sandra Birchmore. And I think that's what's happening here. It's a repercussion of her bringing things to light that didn't want to come to light.
Do you know why the town manager is pushing you out?
That's an answer for him, not me.
Are you taking any legal action against him?
All options are open at this time.
Chief McNamara's attorney tells me they may now take legal action against the town. We have reached out to the town manager's office multiple times, including again tonight, and have yet to hear back. On scene in Stoughton, Elisa Pappas for your local station.
Wild.
Outraged by this sudden change
Let me see if I can get her on the screen.
in leadership. Joe support.
Unbelievable. She was, and I think that's what's happening here. It's a repercussion of light.
Do you know why the town manager?
Okay. So I'm sure some of you are like, what the heck is going on? Why are so many people on a beautiful Sunday having this huge protest or standout, whatever you call it, for this woman? Well, before we dive into Police Chief Donna McNamara's lawsuit, I think it's important to understand the department she inherited when she became Stoughton Police Chief. Because this lawsuit doesn't exist in a vacuum, it comes years after turmoil inside the Stoughton Police Department, years before Sandra Birchmore's murder, and it was before anything was ever charged federally. Now, to understand McNamara's allegations, which you briefly heard of in that news clip, we first need to understand the history of one program that would later become central to the Birchmore investigation. This is where it all starts, my friends. Like I said, I hope you have grabbed some popcorn, because we're about to get into it. If you know anything about me, you know from now that I like to make sure I get as much as I can uncovered. And there's a certain name in here that has a connection to Stoughton, Massachusetts. Lord, it's already beginning. Mercury retrograde is supposed to be over. And by the way, I apologize again if my camera moves because said puppy is still in his cone. I know if I can't babysit him, he moves the camera and he tries to get next to me. So again, I apologize. I know chat doesn't mind it, but sometimes replay crew is like, why is your camera moving? I wish you guys could see the behind the scenes of this. We're live, folks. We are live. So let's get into the Stoughton Police Explorers Program. Well, what the heck is that? The Stoughton Police Explorers Program ran for roughly 15 years until it ended in 2016. Directed for many years by then Deputy Chief Robert Devine. It functioned as a youth mentorship and vocational program modeled after national guidelines before ultimately facing scrutiny and eventual closure. It's important to note that me personally, have been only able to locate a one singular year agreement between the Stoughton Police Department and the nationally recognized program it was affiliated with, which goes by the name Learning for Life. Learning for Life was a branch of the Boy Scouts of America that operated the Exploring Program, which was an educational, hands-on career program for teenagers between the ages of 14 through 20 years old. The program partnered with local law enforcement agencies to expose young people to careers in criminal justice through patrol procedures, community service, leadership development, and mentorship. In your local community, you may be aware of a program like Cops for Kids, things like that, where they get to do ride-alongs. This was even more hands-on than that, where literally during the summer, there was, I think it was like an 8-week program or something like that, where it was kind of like a camp. Picture like you're surrounded by your local cops, and it's like a camp. They did it during the school year, so after school would be done, they'd be able to go there. So it was more hands-on than just like, the normal like day program or like every now and then having like an event with police officers. So it was really meant to show kids what their local police officers do, kind of give them like how does this all work? And also, too, it was an avenue for anyone that was 20 and under, if they wanted to go into the criminal justice, be it an actual officer, potentially even the military is always an avenue, and then transitioning over to being a police officer. You guys get it. So this was a very hands-on program, which now if you understand what happened with Sandra Birchmore in Stoughton, now you can see why some of the things occurred. Okay. I want to be a little more, how do I say this? A little bit more touchy when I go over this next subject, because I know this will kind of trigger some people. But I need to put it out there because this is what I have found in my research. If you follow me on Twitter, this was something that me and also Grant Smith Ellis uncovered together equally when we were going through some documentations regarding to new public records that came out about Sandra Birchmore. There was a ton of emails that had came out, as well as something else that was slowly being released on the national level. So there has been one other aspect of Learning for Life that I did uncover. There is a documented historical link between Jeffrey Epstein and individuals associated with the Learning for Life program. Separately, records indicate that Jeffrey Epstein, or someone using one of his bank cards, was in Stoughton on July 8th and 9th of 2014. Those dates in particular happen to coincide with Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey's annual youth basketball camp in Stoughton. It's the same days. At this point, however, I am not saying these facts establish a connection between Epstein, the Stoughton Explorers Program, Morrissey, or the Sandra Birchmore case. I am simply sharing information that I have uncovered during my research, and it is something I plan to explore much more thoroughly in a future presentation. That's not what we're going to be talking about today, but it is an important aspect and piece of history with the Learning for Life program that we do need to put into the puzzle. Remember, we're always trying to figure out the puzzle. So this is just one piece of this big puzzle. Now, getting back to Stoughton, by 2016, the department was entering quite literally one of the most turbulent periods in its history. Here we go, chat. Officer Robert Devine had been stripped of his rank as deputy chief and suspended following a highly publicized internal affairs investigation involving an extramarital affair and his misuse of official police harassment prevention orders. AKA, he was a cop and he abused, allegedly, his privileges of having such power. Following that, then police chief, I'm so sorry if I say this last name wrong, Paul Chastany, retired in April of 2016. That is when Donna McNamara steps in, because she was first appointed acting police chief before later being named the department's permanent police chief in 2017. So McNamara has been there since 2016. As she began auditing the department's operations, she found significant deficiencies within the Police Explorers program. According to information that has since become public, the program lacked legal charters, active background checks, and any meaningful oversight. Those deficiencies left children participating in the program without safeguards that should have existed from the beginning. Because of that, the Stoughton Police Explorers program was ultimately shut down. Which gets me into the next piece. Sandra Birchmore. By the time the program closed, Sandra was already 18 years old. What would only become publicly understood years later was that according to federal prosecutors, the closure of the program did not necessarily end the relationships that had allegedly begun while participants were still minors. Notice how I said the word participants. Federal prosecutors alleged that several former Stoughton police officers first met with Sandra Birchmore through the Explorers program while she was just 12 years old. I mean, can you guys look at that photo? She quite literally was still a baby. She's 12 years old. It's disgusting. Former Stoughton officer Matthew Farwell began grooming Sandra and would meet with her privately at places like the library. At 15 years old, Farwell would take, oh man. At 15 years old, Farwell would take her virginity. Other officers would later engage in inappropriate relationships with her after she turned 18. According to the government's allegations, communication continued through private channels, including burner social media accounts, even after participants had aged out of the program. Again, take note how I said participants. Those allegations fundamentally changed how the public viewed what had happened inside the Stoughton Police Explorers program. They suggested that what appeared to be a youth mentorship program had, at least in Sandra Birchmore's case, and according to federal prosecutors, been exploited by certain officers to establish relationships with minors that continued into adulthood. That history now brings us to Police Chief Donna McNamara. Told you guys it's a lot. Much like with the Canton Police Department that had many townies in its ranks, Stoughton was very similar. Donna graduated from Stoughton High in 1990. She joined Stoughton PD in 2001, eventually became a detective, promoted to sergeant in March of 2013, and then lieutenant in April of 2015, prior to being put in place as acting police chief when, like I said prior, Chief Chastity hand-selected her for acting chief. This current lawsuit that I mentioned at the top of this live stream, McNamara has filed this past Monday, is where we learned that not only has McNamara been a source for federal investigators, but also that federal investigators were still involved as of last month. And new internal affairs investigations may have to be opened up in regards to both current and former Stoughton Police Department officers. Keep that in the back of your brains. Current and former Stoughton PD. Now, before we get into the filing, I want to briefly highlight a few Stoughton residents who spoke out last night at the Stoughton Selectboard meeting. And all of you are going to be having your head spin because it's going to bring you back to Canton 2023. If you were here or you've looked at old clips, you know where I'm going to go with this because, oh my God, did Stoughton turn out? Wow. Wow. Now, hearing from these locals, you will quickly see the connection between what seemingly looks like Chief McNamara's retaliatory leave of absence, we'll say a forced leave of absence, the town administrator's connection to District Attorney Michael Morrissey, and the federal investigation. Oh boy. Oh boy, chat. Oh boy, chat. We're just getting into it. Uh-oh. My live chat, how are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, you look good. All right. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay. I like when my computer freezes. That's fun. I'm going to share my screen Now, I want to thank Maza Media, friend to the channel, for streaming this last night. I was able to watch it on replay and my jaw dropped. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up Maza's live stream. If you don't subscribe to my friend Maza Media, please do. He is, oh my God, what a peach he is. He's such an amazing person, truly. I'm going to move myself a little more out of the way so you guys can see fully. Where am I? There we go. Okay. So I picked out just a couple. We're not going to go through everything, but I do want to just pull up a few so you guys can get a better grasp of exactly what's going on here. Okay. All right, my friends. 1, 2, 3. Let's go chat.
Good evening, Betty DeRoma, District 4. For 35 years, I was an HR director. I would never have authorized anybody touching a 25-year employee in a protected group without first consulting with an employment lawyer. His actions are reckless, doesn't care that they're reckless because if she sues, it's not going to be his taxes because somehow or another, he is the town manager in a town that he doesn't live in.
That's crazy. That is insane that he doesn't live in that town.
It's just her service to this town has been unparalleled. We talked earlier about if someone says something wrong up here, you'll get a warning first and then you'll be cut off. I'd like to know what the progressive discipline was with Chief McNamara because it doesn't seem like there was any. And lastly, Steve Cavey isn't here, but since the town manager is working on his campaign, I sure as heck hope that he recuses himself from any vote about whether or not to renew this town manager's term. Thank you.
Love it.
Do you guys see the crowd? Do you see all of those shirts? It's wow. Wow, 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 wow. So like I said, I picked a few that I want to highlight. If any of you are watching that were there or you spoke out, I commend you. It is not easy to speak out like this. Put your faces out there, your voice out there, for it to then be live streamed to the masses and to really speak out against your government. We've seen what happens in Canton as well as just in Norfolk County, how people get silenced, how we see charges be brought against people because they're speaking out. We've seen harassment based off of some other things, and I commend every single one of you. Seriously, this is a very big deal for you guys to be there and really use your First Amendment. I want to go to another individual. Okay, here we go.
Of the citizen, wondering if you guys extended his Tom Kral's contract, and if you ever plan on telling us, because I know that's a decision that you guys make. But
well, since you asked it, I will tell you that the chief's contract was renewed first. Town manager's was renewed, I believe, about a month and a half later. So they both were renewed. The chief's was first, the town manager's was second. Before all this arose. That's it. I just wanted to state the facts so you'll know them. I can't hear you.
am I allowed to continue?
Yes, you got 2 minutes.
Thank you. When was hers exactly renewed?
This is citizens' comments. You have to make a statement. We're not, because if I sit here and engage in a debate with you, everybody else is going to want the same treatment. They're entitled to that. So just comments.
I don't know if this necessarily qualifies as a comment, but was this recently? I know the last select board meeting.
What's that? Is what recently?
Was it like within this kind of?
What, the renewals?
Yes.
I said about a month and a half ago, the town manager and the police chief was before that.
Sorry, my nails. The last select board meeting, they made a comment saying it was talking about his renewal of contract.
Whoever said that didn't have the correct information.
All right, thank you. But that was posted online off the town website.
Okay.
Oh boy. You'll start to see every so often these select board members kind of get stuck in a little bit of a lie. Like I said, it sounds familiar, doesn't it, my friends? Citizen number 3.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, by the way, this is totally, no offense to my boomers, but this is being run by a boomer who does not understand technology. So the ding dong occurs during a portion of this citizen's speaking. So please try to hear around the ding dongs. It does eventually stop, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, hi, my name is Jonathan Bowen. I live at 533 School Street. I was part of the Downtown Redevelopment Task Force when it was first formed. First of all 3 of you are cowards. You should all be resigning tonight.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Affected by your lack of action over the years. You have been run over by Tom Coulter. He has moved the deputy chief down to Kingston. He is trying to move the chief out of Stoughton. He's got a relationship with Michael Morrissey. They served together in the House for 5 years. Why, and I don't expect you to answer this, why haven't you people done anything? Deborah Roberts, she put up the mayor of Framingham and then reversed that and then went out and voted for Tom Coulter. I don't understand. You should all be resigning. Steve Cavey should be resigning, and whoever else isn't there should be resigning. This is disgusting. I'm done.
Wow, 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 wow. I told you guys. Crazy. This is what you have to do, though, when you're petitioning the government, right, chat?
My name is Nancy Shaw, Precinct 5. You are elected to be the legislative voice of our precincts, to represent the will of the people and safeguard the integrity of Stoughton. I am here tonight because that integrity is currently under attack, and we need your immediate partnership to stop it. As many of you know, Police Chief Donna McNamara has filed a lawsuit against the town and town manager Tom Coulter. The allegations within this complaint go far beyond a standard employment dispute. They outline a terrifying abuse of power that threatens the safety and liability of our entire community. The complaint alleges that our town manager repeatedly demanded Chief McNamara destroy an official internal investigation report regarding the Sandra Birchmore murder, calling it a hit piece. When the chief refused to break protocol and informed him she was actively cooperating with the FBI, she almost immediately targeted for removal. She was given a baseless ultimatum to resign over an uninvestigated claim of stress. Locked out of her own station and replaced behind closed doors. We are also facing massive liability due to Coulter's alleged blatant misogyny, including his reported statement to union officials that the next chief won't be a woman. We cannot wait for the slow turning of the legal system to address town manager, who is allegedly operating as a rogue entity, actively attempting to bury evidence in a federal murder investigation. And usurping the Select Board's exclusive authority to appoint the police chief. Under Article 7, C71 of our town charter, the residents of Stoughton have the power to take control. We have the right to force the Select Board to call a special town meeting if we deliver a petition with 200 signatures from registered voters. I am calling on every town meeting representative in this room to act now. We need you to stand with us, help us champion this petition in your respective precincts, and secure those 200 signatures immediately. We need a special town meeting on the agenda to demand fully independent investigation into Thomas Coulter and to restore transparency in Stoughton. The time for sideline observation is over. We need your leadership tonight.
And my guess is that the select board is going to be negligent about it too.
Oh, Maza, you may be right. And then I just want to do one more because oh boy, you want to talk about ending with a bang. If you remember a little bit earlier when someone was asking, hey, when did you renew Police Chief McNamara's contract again? When was that? Well, here you go, chat. Oh boy.
The discrimination suit of it in itself.
Jay McNamara.
There we go.
Mr. McCrisky, I'm curious, you just mentioned that Donna's contract was extended at a certain time. It is my understanding that her contract was extended 1 year ago. And I ask you, if you're willing to lie about that, what else are you willing to lie about? Thank you.
There we go. My hat's off to all these people in this town for coming out like this.
Wow. Wow. You want to talk about calling them out? That's what you got to do. This is exactly what you have to do, friends, when you are petitioning your government. You need to know the facts, you need to know your research, and you need to have evidence. And oh boy, do they have evidence. I want to check in with chat for a second just to give myself a little mental break before we get into the connection of District Attorney Michael Morrissey and the Town Administrator of Stoughton, Tom Coulter. I really want to say Calta with my accent, but I'll try to pronounce it correctly for you guys. Coulter. I can't. All right, let me give myself a little mental break because we're about to get into the weeds. Oh, Kim, thank you for gifting 5 Boozey Beauty memberships. Welcome, my friends. Welcome. And thank you, Kim. And congratulations to anyone that got those 5 memberships. Amazing. Bella, thank you for the laughing disco. I so appreciate you. Sassy Desk Diaries, my friends. Hello. And I love, is that a cardigan or suit jacket? Like pink and polka dots. So cute. If you know me, my favorite color is pink. Hence my background. Thank you. Oh, Benny Boo. This is BB squared. This is what I call Ben. BB squared. Stay hydrated, my friends. That's right. Make sure you are drinking your water throughout this. Remember, for your body to function normally, you need to drink half of your body weight in ounces. Just so you know. Ben's like, that's not what I meant by that. That's okay, BB too. Dr. Russell's gasp. Oh, man. Do you remember that during trial too? Oh, boy. Oh, I do. Thank you for giving a little bit of sunshine. And Ben also wanted to dance. So thank you for the laughing disco. Winterbird says, English cocky, get out of my pub. Boston people can sound like the iconic Peggy Mitchell, just saying, sorry, have a good evening, everyone. I think I just got roasted. It's okay. DP, thank you so much for becoming a member, as well as Peppa. Peppa, you're here to stay. I sucked you in. Thanks, Pep. Boston Bia, my friend, so nice seeing you. Thank you for sending a silver star. Thank you for being here. Kels, thank you too for becoming a YouTube member. I hope you enjoy the member-only emojis. As well as Brenda, thank you for the loot box. Loot box, what's that? Is that like treasure? I like it. Oh, and Nanny Can, the cutest puppy ever again with the sparkles. Nancy, thank you. Boozey, that was me that spoke. Shut up. No way. No way. Listen, I get it. As another Norfolk County resident, trust me, I see you guys. I see you. Amazing. And you know what? This is what you have to do. You have to be thorns in their sides. You have to keep poking. Otherwise, they're going to keep doing things behind the scenes, acting like, oh, no, they will never find out. They'll never find out. Okay. We're starting to see the thread starting to unravel with both Sandra's case and John O'Keefe's case. What's that from? Well, you could say federal investigations, obviously, but also public records requests. We as a public can find these things out. If you don't understand public records request, pretty much anything that they do should and, well, could and should be handed over because whatever they're doing is on our dime, taxpayer dollars, okay? Need to remember that wherever you are. So always remember that you, in order to uncover things, have to speak out. You have to be a thorn in some way or the other. Now, I know I have a lot of Norfolk County residents that are still dealing with harassment on whatever end it is. Okay. I understand that. And I also understand some of you may be nervous, fear of backlash, fear of harassment, as you've seen with some of us creators recently, like Emily, who was noted and called out in that Gretchen Voss article that we went over, which again had no grounds to stand on. But just know that I see you. Please don't forget to vote on September 1st. And finally, Becky Cutler also gave out 5 Boozey Beauty memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, my friends, are we ready to get into the connection that starts off a lot of this federal investigation of it all? Because guess where it starts? It always starts on the lower end, hence local. Because when local investigators can't do their jobs, who has to step up? The feds. The feds. The feds. That's right. And Emily, see, we trust. Thank you, Chad. Thank you. Thank you. This photo may trigger some of you. I am so sorry if it does. That was me being fresh. I'm being fresh. I know. Okay, friends. Most of you recognize the man wearing the orange tag. That is the current district attorney of Norfolk County, Michael Morrissey. Then this guy on the other side, that is the town administrator, town manager, whatever you want to call it, administrator or manager, currently of this town of Stoughton. That is who was being called out by several of those residents we just saw at the Stoughton Selectboard meeting that I just played for you guys. And again, thank you for Maza for streaming that. Here comes my research, friends. Okay. Before Stoughton, Thomas Coulter was the town administrator for Kingston, another town. Now, Kingston is in Plymouth County. However, if we're thinking geography, for those of you who don't comprehend what's going on here, Norfolk County as well as Plymouth County have all the crossover of all of it. I always say when a storm comes through, it's not only going to usually hit Norfolk County, it then goes straight into Plymouth County, depending on which way the storm goes. So the town of Kingston isn't too far away from Stoughton, obviously depending on which route you take and obviously depending on how traffic is, especially during the summer during Cape traffic. But I digress. So for those of you who aren't aware, it's not at the other end of the world, if you know what I mean. They're very much kind of on the same plane. And if we're thinking of resident count, they're kind of similar, especially when you look at Canton, Stoughton, they're similar. Kingston is kind of in that same realm, okay? Just for you guys that don't fully comprehend what's going on with the towns. So here's the thing, though. Before he was the town administrator for the town of Kingston, he spent 11 years in the Massachusetts House of Representatives from 2007 until he resigned in 2018 to become the town of Kingston's town administrator. Specifically, in the House of Reps, Coulter served the 12th district of Plymouth County. See how easy that is? Plymouth County and Kingston. I know a lot of you too have been watching the random civil cases. Some of you maybe are looking at the Lindsay Clancy case. That obviously is out of Plymouth County. A couple of Karen Reed civil lawsuits are out of Plymouth County. So just so you're getting a little bit more of geography out of this. Now, Michael Morrissey, prior to becoming district attorney of Norfolk County in 2011, he too was a state rep for Norfolk County. Except, remember, Coulter was Plymouth County, Morrissey, Norfolk County. Remember, like I just said, though, They're very close. The main difference is Morrissey was a state rep from Norfolk County from 1977 to 1992. Then he became a state senator for Norfolk County and Plymouth County districts from 1992 through 2010. And then in that duration of time, he eventually chaired the Committee on Public Safety. Do you see where I am going with this? This means both Coulter and Morrissey's careers overlapped extensively at the state house and within regional government for 4 years. Now, some of you who don't understand what that means, this would mean constantly the two of these men collaborated on the state budget, local transit funding, and environmental bills. And being the chair of the Public Safety Committee, Morrissey had a vast oversight over law enforcement, emergency management, and state funding. Coulter, on the behalf of Plymouth County, would have to build a relationship with Morrissey to secure funding and state support for his local public safety projects. This would mean for 4 years, Coulter and Morrissey would literally rub elbows and likely spend significant time together so that Morrissey wouldn't let a bill that would benefit Coulter and Plymouth County essentially die. Because if the chair, who was Morrissey at that time, didn't like a bill and chose not to vote on it, it essentially would not go anywhere. So Coulter, wanting to benefit Plymouth County, especially when it comes to public safety, which includes law enforcement and all of the things that goes into public safety, would mean he would have to play nice with Morrissey in order for Coulter to get things done for him. Otherwise, because this is politics, friends, if they didn't have a good relationship, Coulter could end up not getting anything done for his county, which then obviously would affect how people vote for him. I know, chat. I know. I see you. I see you. But guess what? Do you think it ended there? Do we think when Morrissey was elected as district attorney and when Coulter moved on to be the town manager of Canton, do you think that ended their relationship? How about with Morrissey being Norfolk County district attorney and then Tom Coulter being the town administrator of Stoughton, which we know is in what? Norfolk County. Of course, it continues to the current day because Morrissey's jurisdiction, oh, good Lord. Jurisdiction as Norfolk County District Attorney directly encompasses Stoughton. This would directly maintain a professional relationship between the two men into today because Stoughton falls directly under Morrissey's jurisdiction as Norfolk County District Attorney. So literally, now these two men basically transitioned from a legislator to chair dynamic into a town administrator to district attorney dynamic. Quite literally, where coordination on local law enforcement and municipal public safety remained central to both of their jobs. Now, thinking of that, if one has to benefit the other, and we're looking at this new lawsuit filed by Police Chief Donna McNamara, and we're hearing these allegations, you heard some of the Stoughton citizens speak out. And these allegations, don't worry, we'll read that lawsuit, friends. We're getting to it. Do we think with Coulter acting this way, Police Chief McNamara working with the feds has anything to do potentially with Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey? The same district attorney, by the way, when he found out from the pre-trials of the first Karen Reed trial, and we saw those letters back and forth between Joshua Levy and Morrissey. Do we think Morrissey was happy knowing that there was a federal investigation? No, of course he wasn't. We know that. We've seen those letters. Of course he wasn't. Now you have a police chief in a town like Stoughton that's working with the feds. Are we connecting the dots here? But like I said, public records requests always unearth all of the things. Slowly but surely. This is why they usually fight you, friends, on public records. Or they charge you, they try to say like you're going to be charged $4,000 to go through some emails. No. Speaking of emails. If you're not looking at your screen and you're listening to this more like a podcast, you want to look at the men's faces that I'm going to be referencing. Feel free to look at the screen right now. Okay. Obviously, we know the old man is Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey. Next to him is his chief trial counsel, Greg Conner. Greg Conner has since left the Norfolk County DA's office to run for district attorney because Michael Morrissey is going to be retiring. In the office, Conner would have been kind of like the go-to person. That's literally what chief trial counsel is, right? You have your district attorney, you have your chief trial counsel, you have your first ADA, and then you have all the other ADAs as well as administrators, etc. So if we're looking at like a triangle of the office, Morrissey would be at the top. Greg Conner would be on one pillar, and then their first ADA, Lynn Beeland, sorry chat, would be on the other. So when Greg Conner first came out to say that he was running for district attorney, he was trying to distance himself so much from all of the things. But as you can see in this photograph, we very clearly were getting public records requests, not only from the various Karen Reed trials, but also the investigation of Sandra Birchmore. Now, next to Greg Conner in this photo is the commanding officer of the Norfolk County DA's state troopers. His name is Brian Tully. I know if you're in here and you're a regular, you probably know who this character is. We'll get to him. Next to him is another lieutenant in that same state troopers Norfolk County office. He goes by the name of John Fanning. He was the lead investigator of the Sandra Birchmore case. Remember, Sandra Birchmore's case was ruled as a self-unaliving, which clearly the feds stepped in and completely disagreed with that. Kind of familiar to what happened in Canton and John O'Keefe, right? And finally, next to John Fanning is, depends on who you ask, Lieutenant or Sergeant Yuri Bukhenik. If you watched either of the Karen Reed trials, you are familiar with him. Don't worry, we'll get into him as well. Earlier this year, we got a rather large public records request, and in it, I personally went through literally 1,865 emails from this public records request. And when I tell you, I literally was scrolling my phone. I didn't search any terms. I looked at every single email because things can purposely be misspelled. That's usually how things kind of get bypassed with public records requests, is that things purposely get misspelled. If you remember, as a good example, the first trial of Karen Reed, and one of the initial reports out of Canton Police Department, it was misspelling some witnesses' names. It wasn't naming their full names. There was incorrect addresses on there. One could say that might have been purposeful. Anyways, this specific public records request that I was searching through was specifically for Sandra Birchmore. And like I said, it was emails. But there was one email in particular that stood out to me, which I screenshotted here. As you can see, on June 20th, 2022, a spokesperson for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, he was literally like their public relations, like media guy. He goes by the name of David Traub, who has since retired. And just a sidebar, randomly in the last couple of months has got a total of $20,000 out of Morrissey's campaign fund. If you're wondering why, we don't know yet, but don't worry. There's some requests that have since been sent in. Anyways, sidebar over. So David Traub, like I said, who is the PR media spokesperson for the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, sent this email to Michael Morrissey, Greg Connor, Brian Tully, John Fanning, and Yuri Bukhenik. This email contained a link to a Boston Globe article titled "The Worst of Small Town Governments. Latest Stoughton Police Scandal Adds to a Long History of Trouble." This article was one of the earliest public pieces openly questioning the investigation into Sandra Birchmore's death. Reminder, she was unalived the year prior. This means that Greg Connor, who, like I said, is now running for district attorney, was directly included in internal communications highlighting public criticism of this case as early as June of 2022. And like I said, he has previously tried to distance himself from both Sandra Birchmore's case and John O'Keefe's case. So, just so you all can catch what I'm throwing at you, he was not on the outside looking in, as he has previously indicated. He was inside the office and looped in while concerns about the investigation were already being raised publicly. Now, fast forward to April 2026, we had federal filings that indicated that critical forensic evidence existed all along, including DNA on the ligature that asphyxiated Sandra, DNA at the scene, and biological evidence that went untested. Evidence that goes directly to cause and manner of death was genuinely, literally sitting there while the case was ruled a self-unaliving. Connor, of course, has minimally addressed Sandra Birchmore's case, often sidestepping it altogether. He did, during a district attorney debate, briefly mention Sandra's name, except he pronounced her name wrong. He couldn't even give a victim out of his offices, like literally. Think about that for a second. You have a victim's case who seemingly tried to be swept under the rug for whatever reason. Chat, you can go in the chat and say all the things about it. Not only when this investigation starts, or I should say, when you start your campaign for district attorney, you try to distance yourself from it. Then finally, public pressure is put on because there's people like me, and a lot of you too, chat, who won't let up on the Sandra Birchmore case because she is a victim. Not only of the Stoughton Police Department, not only of the Massachusetts State Police, but also the Norfolk County DA's office. And now, after public pressure, randomly Connor says her name in a debate because everyone else is speaking about Sandra, and he says her name wrong. I've said this before, but that is like calling John O'Keefe Joe. Can you imagine calling John Joe O'Keefe? Oh, grinds my gears. To me, in my opinion, that just goes to show the level he cares about getting justice for Sandra at the state level. Because even though the medical examiner has since ruled that they changed her manner of death from self-unaliving to undetermined, again, via public pressure, now all of a sudden he wants to bring up her name. However, at the same time, Connor's role as chief trial counsel placed him at the top of the prosecution side of the office for nearly a decade. That role involves advising on serious cases, being part of internal discussions, and having visibility into matters that carry legal and public weight. Being included on emails like this reflects that he was absolutely, without a doubt, kept in the loop as concerns were developing, not only internally, but also publicly. Like I said, John Fanning was also included in this email, and he was the lead investigator of the Sandra Birchmore investigation. He helped the office come to the incorrect conclusion that Sandra unalived herself. He even made sure not to record his interviews. Doesn't that sound familiar, friends? Including the one with former cop buddy Matthew Farwell, where he decided to have his interview in a vehicle parked in an elementary school parking lot in Stoughton. Fanning, if you didn't know, graduated from Stoughton High and is also a former Stoughton police officer. He worked for Stoughton PD from 2002 until 2005. Then we're talking about Yuri Bukhenik. Of course, he was also included on the same email. And even though he was not an investigator of the Birchmore case, he was still included in all of these internal communications circulating media criticism. At the same time, he too has deep personal and professional ties to the town of Stoughton, having grown up there, graduating Stoughton High, and continuing to live there with his family. Which brings me to how Yuri acts on social media currently till this day. As you can see, this is a tweet from July 22nd, 2026. So perhaps this might give an insight as to how Yuri has been moving since the John O'Keefe investigation, or at least since we have been paying attention more to the town of Canton, the town of Stoughton, and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. He has publicly supported the Alberts and McCabe's on almost a dozen of occasions, posting the family's fundraiser to help fund their lawsuit against Karen Reed. Yuri was a part of an internal affairs investigation and was found to have not properly supervised Michael Proctor. He had to forfeit 5 vacation days and was subsequently moved out of Norfolk County DA's office. Regardless of that, he still gives off the air that he is, dare I say, like untouchable. I personally was even told earlier this year that he was found eligible for the promotion of lieutenant only a little after a year after being disciplined. This tweet, he states, 3+ years of relentless attacks and character assassinations, knowing the truth, while in fact the system was plotting and working against them. We've all known the facts as they unfolded in real time, and that was tough to live with while staying stoic. If you think the them is speaking about John O'Keefe, if you think the them is speaking about Sandra Birchmore, you're wrong. The them he is speaking about, just from context based off of all of his other previous tweets and his Facebook posts, the them is the quote unquote, as they like to call themselves, the innocent witnesses. The Albert family, the McCabe family, and Higgins. Celebrate. I hate when my thing does that at the wrong time. Balloon just came up on my screen. Oh my God. We are not celebrating right now, chat. It's the wrong time. So in regards to Yuri, the question becomes, why was someone without an investigative role on the Birchmore case even included in this internal loop of communications, while the investigation itself was already under scrutiny? If he didn't work on the case, why are they including him? Knowing that he also is a Stoughton townie. When you step back and look at this, you see an office where leadership was aware early on that the public was questioning how this case was handled, where that awareness sat alongside untested forensic evidence that is only now coming to light, and where the same individuals in leadership roles are now asking to be elevated to run the entire office. Greg Connor. Uh-huh. Getting into Police Chief McNamara's lawsuit. Do you see now why a police chief who seemingly refused to fall in line could become a liability, particularly in a case like Sandra Birchmore's, where there have been allegations of mishandling involving the district attorney, members of his office, and law enforcement officials he hand-selected, and where the investigation ultimately led to federal criminal charges. If McNamara's allegations are true, it raises the question of whether the rush to remove her was about protecting the town or protecting the people who could have been affected by what the FBI was still investigating. Let me take a quick second. I'm going to load up this lawsuit that we're going to go over with these allegations. I have a couple of thank yous real quick, just to take a mental breather for a second. Thank you to Customize for sending a party hat along with my balloons. It is much needed when we talk about subjects of this nature. Thank you, thank you. Kitty, from member from 1 month, thank you. Go, Ms. Nancy, you did good. Yes, I agree. Like I said, it's not easy to put yourself out there like that. It's not easy. Widowbird, thank you for giving 1 membership. Congratulations to the individual who got that. Thank you, thank you. And Widowbird, yep, says the Mount Rushmore of corruption. Except, can we not put their faces on like stone or anything? Let's not do that. Pat Lovers, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I hope you enjoy the members only emojis. And my friend, allegedly LB, just happy to catch a live. Thank you for putting all this together. Of course. Of course. I do it for my own personal research, but I also do it because they don't want these things spoken about. Or at least it appears to me in this way. So I now am going to pull up our lawsuit that was just filed this past Monday. Like I said, my friends, this is where we start to learn what's been going behind the scenes, specifically of the Birchmore of it all, Stoughton of it all, which then bleeds into Canton. I can't make this a little bit bigger. Where am I? Here I am. All right, my friends, how is that for you? Can make it a little bit bigger, huh? I think so. I think so. Okay. All right. So, like I said, this was filed Monday. So today is Wednesday, July 29th. This was filed Monday, July 27th. I want to give a huge shout out to a few of my friends. Grant, of course, mods. If you can find Grant's YouTube and put it up, I can pin it. So, of course, my friends can have it. Grant is actually the first person that I saw post this on YouTube, and he as well covered it yesterday morning. So, of course, if you want even more details on it and look into how Grant feels all about it, feel free to check him out. As well as my friend Dee Suspicious Sauce on Twitter also posted it too today. So as you can see, this was filed in Norfolk, and that is Donna McNamara versus the town of Stoughton and the town administrator / manager, like I said, whatever you want to call him, Tom Coulter. Okay. So why did she file this? Well, as you can see, she's clearly going through all the things. She's being forced out for certain reasons. So let's get into the reasons why she filed this lawsuit. This complaint arose out of the defendants, Town of Stoughton and Thomas C. Coulter's unlawful actions toward plaintiff, Stoughton Police Chief Donna McNamara, ineffectively and unlawfully stripping her of her contractual right to be the police chief for the town and serve the citizens of this community in which she grew up. Less than 48 hours after Chief McNamara filed a harassment complaint with the Stoughton Selectboard against Coulter, their current selection for the town manager, the town issued a statement to the media naming an active Stoughton police chief and claiming Chief McNamara had voluntarily stepped down from her duties, which is not true. Chief McNamara's harassment complaint against Coulter alleges that he had been engaging in a pattern of gossip and disparagement against her, while also calling and texting her on the phone virtually every day for the 2 weeks prior to her complaint in an attempt to intimidate her into resigning from her position. Defendants are prohibiting Chief McNamara from doing her duties, even though to date they have provided no lawful reason to do so. Meanwhile, Coulter continues a relentless campaign to assassinate her reputation through a pattern of legally actionable and misogynistic words and conduct against the town's first female police chief and only female officer, which must end with this court action. What did we just get out of this? Well, Police Chief McNamara is the only female in Stoughton Police Department. What does that say about the police department? Oh boy. Oh boy. Could be a multitude of things. I think probably the allegations against Stoughton police, be it past, current, or even future allegations, may pause some women from becoming a part of the department. We're seeing something similar when it comes to Canton PD, where for quite a long time they weren't able to hire anyone because no one wanted to work for the town. It seems like something similar is going on here within Stoughton PD, where women don't want to work for the squad. Gee, I wonder why. Which obviously puts McNamara at an unfortunate target on her back. Unfortunately, being the only woman. You know, it's like the whole thing, women in STEM, women working in male-dominated fields. Yeah. This is the exact example of that. So obviously this was filed in Norfolk County because town of Stoughton. The parties, plaintiff Donna McNamara is an adult resident of Sharon, Massachusetts, and is employed by the town of Stoughton as the police chief for the Stoughton Police Department. Defendant, town of Stoughton, has its principal place of business at 10 Pearl Street, Stoughton, Massachusetts, and defendant Thomas Coulter is the town manager for the town of Stoughton. Here come the facts. Did that just mess up? No, it made it bigger. Wow, I can make it a little bit bigger now. Look at me go, chat. Look at me go. Facts of this case. McNamara has been employed at the Stoughton Police Department for 25 years, holding the ranks of patrol officer, detective, sergeant, patrol supervisor, lieutenant, and shift commander. So she's literally worked like every rank. She has worked her way up the ranks, so to speak. In the above capacities, she boasts an exemplary personal record. In March 2016, then Police Chief Paul Chastany appointed McNamara as acting police chief. Then, in April 2016, the Stoughton Selectboard acted to appoint McNamara to the position of interim Stoughton police chief. In January 2017, the Selectboard permanently appointed McNamara as police chief. According to the town charter for Stoughton, the Select Board is the highest executive authority in the town and maintains the exclusive authority to appoint the police chief. McNamara's rise through the ranks to police chief for the town marks the first and only time that a woman has been promoted in the Stoughton Police Department, a fact McNamara takes seriously. At present, there are 10 women employed at the police department, and none of them holds an officer rank. McNamara just recently signed her 3-year contract with the Stoughton Select Board and was contemplating retirement at the end of the contract after 2028, having fulfilled her duties faithfully. So she wasn't planning on leaving, okay? End of 2028. In her capacity as the Stoughton Police Chief, she worked with numerous town managers who are appointed by the Select Board, including Coulter, who became employed by the town in December of 2022. What an interesting time to come into office. Ain't that interesting? Pursuant to her current employment contract, McNamara may resign from her position at any time, or the Select Board can terminate her employment with or without cause, subject to the process set forth in that document. In her role as the head of the Stoughton Police Department, McNamara directs all administrative and operational functions within Stoughton Police Department, oversees the daily activity of all personnel, supervises and directs investigations of allegations of police misconduct and violations of policy and regulations, develops, prepares, and administers the annual budget of the Stoughton Police Department, coordinates the hiring and promotion process for the Stoughton Police Department, though she is not the appointing authority, and serves as a spokesperson for the Stoughton Police Department, providing any and all press releases and interaction with news media. McNamara has an exemplary service record. She has never been disciplined by any of the numerous town managers she served under, nor has she ever received a negative performance evaluation. Just a sidebar, I understand that this is typically very on par for when it comes to like employment disputes. If you've never been written up or all the things, I get that. I don't put so much weight into these arguments because believe me, you could be obviously the best employee and these type of things happen to you. I understand that. However, on the flip side, we are talking about law enforcement, and there was also someone else that was bragging that he didn't have any strikes against him. until he had strikes against him, which then made him lose his job. And then he had to lose the appeal to lose his job because that he dropped the appeal. He lost the rights to the police union, his police union attorney. It seemingly has lost his family, his home, everything. That would be Michael Proctor. No, I am not saying Michael Proctor and Donna McNamara are on the same level. Not in the least bit. What I am saying, though, is I can understand the argument here. I personally don't hold too much weight to it. Okay? But the complaint goes on to state she has never been informed that her performance was unsatisfactory in any way. She has received numerous commendations from the town of Stoughton for service above and beyond the call of duty during her career. She has successfully completed several noteworthy projects, including a complete revamp of the department's evidence processing procedures in a partnership with the Stoughton Fire Department to transition to regional public safety dispatch. She has presented a reasonable budget to the town each year. She is oh boy, she is a graduate of the FBI National Academy. Huh? I'm pretty sure Canton Police Department Chief Berkowitz also did something like that too. If I go back in the back of my brain a little bit, I'm almost positive Berkey also did that. We learned that during the whole retirement party that Helena Rafferty and Brian Higgins held for him. Remember the one where Higgins' speech was cut out? Where he supposedly said, if you want to hide a body, Berkey's your man. Yeah. Anyways, Donna McNamara is a graduate of the FBI National Academy, and she has ensured that the department has achieved and maintained voluntary state accreditation during her time as chief. She also expanded the command staff by adding a second deputy chief's position, ensuring more efficient supervision department-wide. In short, McNamara has modernized a police department that was stuck in the quote-unquote old ways for many years. That's a big deal. That is a very big deal. If we're looking like in similar aspects right now in Canton, we also saw that too with the retirement of Helena Rafferty. They then had an interim police chief in there. His name was Joseph Perkins. And then, of course, we saw another outside get officially hired as police chief, Michael Daniels. So I'm all for it. The only difference here is Police Chief McNamara is from Stoughton, right? Graduated Stoughton High, lived there many, many, many years, obviously, which again is something you need to weigh on your opinions of all of this. Now, that being said, Coulter has made it clear throughout his time in Stoughton as its town manager that he does not believe the police chief position should be filled by a woman. Oh, he went there. Now, just as a reminder, when it comes to filing a lawsuit, we do have to take everything that is in the original complaint as fact. It is what it is. I'm sure Police Chief McNamara has evidence of such things because just giving his history, which we'll get into in a little bit, this kind of seems on par from what has been speculated around the town of Stoughton in regards to their town manager. McNamara's vision for the Stoughton Police Department has been one of integrity, transparency, and service. Coulter has consistently, over the past 4 years, undermined and circumvented McNamara, making it instrumentally more difficult for her to execute this vision. So basically, Coulter was like, in layman's terms, no, I don't like your idea because it's coming from a woman. But I bet if it came from one of McNamara's male counterparts in the department, I bet you he would think it's a good idea. He kind of seems like one of those. He kind of seems like one of those. There have been multiple instances over the years in which McNamara has held a different opinion from Coulter regarding the Stoughton Police Department operations, and when she expressed such, it has been met with hostility, yelling, and threats. Oh. There have been numerous instances in which Coulter has attempted to interfere with McNamara's police investigations and influence their outcomes. Oh, let me reread that. There have been numerous instances in which Coulter has attempted to interfere with McNamara's police investigations and influence their outcomes. For example, in December 2024 and again in April 2025, Coulter attempted to insert himself into investigations involving complaints filed by Stoughton employees against Stoughton citizens, which McNamara did not permit. So he wanted to butt in when citizens made complaints about other Stoughton cops. Coulter wanted to butt in, and McNamara was like, yeah, nobody. These are my officers. These are my employees. If he is interfering when citizens of Stoughton are coming out to complain, knowing the background of other Stoughton police officers, what do you think's really going on here, guys? Can you see why now I went a little more in depth with Coulter's relationship with Morrissey? Is it possible, as the town manager, Coulter and the Norfolk County District Attorney Morrissey are doing things behind the scenes that we as a public are not fully knowing of yet? Is it? That's up for you guys to decide. Ugh. When McNamara went against Coulter's choice for a promotion because of that male employee's long history of misconduct, he threatened to cut the police department's legal budget. When McNamara instituted training based on her knowledge of the needs of her department, she was met with resistance and angry, threatening calls from Coulter, who stated that the department had, quote unquote, had enough training. So he comes in December of 2022. Public scrutiny beginning, I would say, the springtime of 2022. This was when the public started learning more about Sandra's case, and was rightfully so questioning all of the things regarding her investigation. And so him leaving the town of Kingston at the end of 2022, when things are starting to ramp up on the backside of Sandra's case, because you also now have quite a few locals in Canton that are questioning what's going on with the John O'Keefe case and the crossover of those investigators, because remember, these are Morrissey's boys. They are handpicked. If you don't think so, you might want to do a little more research about how Morrissey likes to pick the guys that work for him, specifically the officers. You mean to tell me that Coulter just came in willy-nilly after he was already dealing with allegations in Kingston of acting like this, all like this? And then he goes into Stoughton, where citizens are questioning what was going on within their police department? He just wanted to become the town manager for the good of it all? Because according to this lawsuit, That's not what is happening. It kind of seems like he's trying to keep the old ways. And when you have, God forbid, a woman come in charge who has been in charge for years already at that point, who was trying to, let's just say, clear up the gunk. And I'm just saying that in like nice layman's terms. You guys know what I'm talking about? And someone that has a long history of misconduct is going for a promotion, and the police chief is saying no. And you have the town manager being like, nah, he's fine. Can you imagine? I know we know the things about law enforcement, especially in Massachusetts. When you get promotions, it tends to be more of who you know, not what you know, or maybe things you have done for others. Oh yeah, you scratched my back, so here's promotion. I'll scratch yours right back. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. See what I mean, guys? You go into the background of all these individuals and you start to realize, oh, all those things that started off 20 years ago are still very much relevant to now. And you wonder why the feds are still here. How do you know that, Booze? Oh, it's coming. The complaint goes on to state, Coulter has consistently circumvented McNamara's authority during her tenure under him by dealing directly with other male ranking officers or male police union presidents on matters related to Stoughton Police Department operations, deliberately sidestepping her in favor of these male, less qualified colleagues. The sidestepping has become so pervasive that McNamara has been forced to instruct at least one of her male colleagues to attempt to halt Coulter's advances. So it sounds like she has tried to do all of the things to tell Coulter to cut the shit. And he's not listening, completely not respecting the police chief. So now she has to go to male colleagues to be like, please, can you make him stop? Because he won't stop. Please, he's not listening to me. And Stoughton PD? I mean, you want to talk about two police departments in Massachusetts that have had international news headlines. You got Canton PD and Stoughton PD. And this is the crap that's going on? Oh. In February of 2021, prior to Coulter's arrival in Stoughton, McNamara spearheaded an internal investigation of the Stoughton Police Department, which was conducted by one of her male officers. The officer's report named 3 former Stoughton police officers who had inappropriate relations with a young woman named Sandra Birchmore, who started out as an underage member of the Stoughton Police Explorers program and who had been found pregnant, unalived, under clearly questionable circumstances in February of 2021. One of those officers, Matthew Farwell, has been indicted by a federal grand jury for unaliving Sandra Birchmore and her unborn baby, and his trial is upcoming. October, my friends. October. Remember that locally, on top of that, what else is happening? The district attorney election. Can't make this up. It's almost like the heat's getting a little hot in the kitchen. No? On September 23rd, 2022, McNamara held a press conference and announced the results of the above investigation. She also made the report accessible to the public. In 2024, McNamara initiated a second internal investigation of her police department involving Birchmore. At the conclusion of this investigation, a report was issued, and on several occasions, Coulter demanded that McNamara destroy it, referring to it as a quote-unquote hit piece. McNamara refused to violate department policies and protocols. She did not and has not destroyed this report, which greatly displeases Coulter. This means that the Stoughton police chief caught wind of some other things going on in 2024, mind you, 2 years ago. She must have heard some things through the grapevine, so she opened up another internal affairs investigation into her own department, specifically involving what case? Sandra Birchmore. We know the allegations from federal prosecutors of what exactly that involves. McNamara caught wind of other officers involving Birchmore-related things. There's a report that the public has not seen about this second internal affairs investigation. And Coulter, who has long rubbed elbows with Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey, told the police chief to destroy this. We're talking about officers. If this is what this means, other officers who were inappropriate, and I'm saying that lightly because of the YouTube algorithm of it all, inappropriate with underage individuals. My friends, this means if they have not yet left Stoughton PD, they're still working for Stoughton. And Stoughton's manager, Tom Coulter, knows their names, knows the report, and from this lawsuit, threatened the police chief. And now has attempted to fire her. And you wonder why the feds got involved. Because as a reminder, the feds have long been in Norfolk County. It started with, if you guys remember this, the crime lab cases. Norfolk County was heavily involved with one of those cases. And now we have this. We have Sandra Birchmore's case. And we have individuals like a random journalist, Gretchen Voss, who works for Boston Magazine, trying to say that it was Karen Reed's fault the feds were in Norfolk County. Babes, they've already been here. And they haven't left. There's more. Last month, in June of 2026, during a meeting between McNamara and Coulter regarding Matthew Farwell's upcoming federal murder trial, McNamara put Coulter on notice that she had been cooperating with the FBI in this case. So that's the Sandra Birchmore federal case. And that she believes that as a result of the FBI's trial preparation and testimony involving current and also former Stoughton Police Department employees, new misconduct issues may arise, necessitating internal affairs investigations of her employees, and that she intends to comply with department policies and protocols and conduct such investigations as necessary. Last month, Police Chief McNamara had a meeting with the feds, not only for prep for what's to come in October, but because there are allegations against both current and former Stoughton police employees. that surround either the Birchmore case directly or similar Birchmore allegations. Current. And if you want to talk about former, we already know Matthew Farwell, who's a former Stoughton police officer, already has the federal case against him. We know this. Now, I'm sure there are some that might be thinking, okay, well, the other former employees could easily be two other members that we know of. Matthew's brother, Billy, who has since left Massachusetts and moved to New Mexico, Arizona, wherever the hell he is. Bounced. He bounced. He goes, bye. See ya. Also, we could think of Robert Devine, who, like I said, was the head of the Stoughton Police Explorers program, who also has allegations against him. It could also mean other former Stoughton police officers who no longer work for the town. Is there a reason why current Lieutenant Massachusetts State Police John Fanning, who was the head of the Sandra Birchmore case, is there a reason why he didn't investigate all of the things? Like the DNA on the ligature or other DNA at the scene? Is there a way that he decided to pull his friend Farwell into an interview that was not recorded in a vehicle in an elementary school parking lot? Is there a reason why they missed all of the communications? All of Sandra's phone data? We don't know. But it sure seems like whatever this, when was the exact date of the other investigation that Donna McNamara was looking at? 2024? Is it possible that those names that should have had an investigation against them and have been withheld by Coulter for 2 years now, does that correlate to what the feds are looking into as recently as last month? Especially when she says that there's going to be new misconduct issues. New. Billy Farwell and Robert Devine, those misconduct issues wouldn't be new. They no longer work for Stoughton Police. They've been decertified as police officers. So unless there's even more misconduct against them, we are potentially looking at current and former Stoughton police officers that we don't know about that have to deal with Birchmore-related issues. There's a P word that ends in file that I'm thinking of. That are still working for the department, that may have left the department and now work for other entities, other towns, the state police. This means that the feds are still in Norfolk County, my friends. This means that they are still actively investigating. Do you remember my last live stream when I was telling you guys about how sometimes the feds will say something or do something just to see how other people act? Like their targets, people that they're watching, how they move afterwards. This would not only include Stoughton, but Canton as well. Another important point we need to remember that Sandra Birchmore, at the time of her death, was not living in the town of Stoughton, she was living in Canton. And if we know anything about the early stages of the John O'Keefe investigation, that obviously heavily involved Canton, could we also say that there were some things going on in Canton Police Department because of fellow friendships that may have affected the beginning stages of Sandra's investigation? Because no longer can we say that any of these officers were not friends with Canton Police Department and Massachusetts State Police. That includes Stoughton. Includes names like Fanning and Bukhenik. The complaint goes on. On July 6, 2026, Coulter's assistant contacted McNamara by phone to set up an unexpected meeting between her and Coulter for the following day, July 7, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. On July 7, 2026, Coulter and McNamara met at his office. During this meeting, town council and Coulter informed McNamara that a member of the department had allegedly contacted them directly, accusing her of berating him and causing him stress at work. With no investigation or attempt at fact-finding, Coulter informed McNamara that she must resign with dignity or face immediate termination. In June, she finds out that the feds may be opening up other investigations, and she may have to open up her own internal affairs investigation. Not only from the first one, not only from the second one, but now the feds are telling her there's new information that more of your current or former officers will say have been acting up. So she tells this to the town manager. You're telling me within a week, 2 weeks, an officer is saying that he's being berated and goes to Coulter, the town manager, and now all of a sudden the manager and town council wants to have a one-on-one meeting with her, and instead of investigating, they immediately put the blame on her. That's what that is. And I can't tell you guys how wrong. That is not policy. That is not what you're supposed to do. Hence the reason why this lawsuit has come about. Because they literally did no investigation. They didn't even say, like, why don't you apologize and we'll sweep this under the rug, like I'm sure they would do for any of her male counterparts. Like they did with Farwell. Both Farwells and Devine. But for her, someone says, oh, she's being mean to me. And they're saying, you need to leave now or else. Sus. Sus. This complaint from this Stoughton officer, even if it exists, had not been investigated, and it would represent the first formal complaint issued against McNamara during her entire career with the department. Coulter ended the meeting by informing McNamara that she was not to go to work or enter the police station on or off hours without his approval, and that she could use her own accrued time to cover her absence from work, which she has reluctantly done to date. He did not ask for her badge or service weapon and allowed her to drive her cruiser home so that she did not have to walk. This goes against like all policies. Like, guys, this, oh my God. She's being punished. No, literally, this is what I'm taking from this complaint. And remember, complaints at their face, we have to take as fact. She's saying some fuck shit's going on with some of the guys. And he's being like, no. Now, guess what? Not only are you not allowed to work right now, you can't even come to the station. But then Again, against policy. He doesn't ask for the badge or any other police issued things that she would have on her. A recent example would be Sean Good, Sergeant Sean Good with Canton PD. The reason why I keep referencing Canton PD is because that's what we've been talking about for so much. Remember when interim police chief first found out about his texts with Michael Proctor? How did interim police chief act? What did he do? He had Goody come into the station, briefly asked about it, and said, okay, well, you know what? You are now on a leave of absence. Give me all of the things. And not only that, interim chief Perkins went above and beyond, given the allegations against Good, and told him, you cannot go on town property without an escort. But that's because they already had some examples of what Goody was saying. They didn't have the entire extraction, but they had some things. But in this case, all that Coulter has is word of another officer, did not investigate whatsoever, told Police Chief McNamara, hey, yeah, do this or else you can no longer come into the station, but no worries, you can keep your badge and police issued weapon and your cruiser. Man, Stoughton, you guys have been dealing with some crap for a long time, and this is just all because there's allegations against current and former officers that federal investigators are currently still investigating. McNamara left this meeting with Coulter in a state of confusion. She has served the town of Stoughton for over 25 years and takes great pride in rising through the ranks to become police chief. McNamara has been forced to call in sick each day. She has been scheduled since July 7th, 2026. Right, because she wouldn't get any money. She wouldn't be getting paid. So she has to use her vacation and pay time for this. Even Goody, even Sergeant Good was getting his salary. Up until that he resigned because he didn't want to do his interview with investigators that were hired by Canton PD about the relationship of Proctor and Goody. Even Goody was still getting paid. And we saw those texts. If you guys haven't seen those texts, I did a live stream on it. Check it out if you wish. It's a lot though. Trigger warning if you do click over and watch that. Coulter scheduled a follow-up meeting with McNamara to occur on July 9th, 2026 for the purpose of discussing McNamara's decision. Quote unquote decision. So now Coulter is saying that McNamara made this decision on her own. Oh my God. Talk about gaslighting. Oh my God. However, on July 8th, 2026, this meeting was postponed and not rescheduled. Oh, ain't that crazy? After that meeting, which occurred exactly 1 year after she signed her third contract as chief. Ooh, because remember, in the select board meeting that we watched at the beginning of this live stream, they tried to say that they had just redid her contract. But remember, I think that's one of her family members, same last name, said, oh yeah, that was a year ago. That wasn't currently. They currently did the town manager's contract, but not Donna McNamara, the police chief's contract. So this is now in the legal filing. So 1 year she signed her contract ago. So after that meeting, which occurred exactly 1 year after she signed her third contract as chief in early 2026, coworkers, friends, and family members began to report to McNamara that they were hearing rumors that she, quote unquote, was never coming back and, quote unquote, was fired. This was all news to her. Oh no. But who was saying that? Gee, I wonder who was saying that. McNamara called in sick to work on July 8th and July 9th, 2026. When she called in sick On July 9th, McNamara spoke to a department employee who informed her that Coulter had told him about the discussion she had with Coulter on July 7th, and that Coulter told him, quote unquote, Donna will not be coming back to work. So now here's the town manager going around like a gossip queen, trying to be like, meeting didn't go too well and she's going to quit. Or maybe that Coulter's trying to say that he fired her. Oh boy. On July 10th, 2026, when McNamara called in sick to work, she spoke to a department employee who informed her that Coulter had come to the police station for a meeting with all of the male commanders. Oh boy, here we go. During this meeting, Coulter told them that, quote, Donna was on sick leave for the next week and that she will not be coming back to the station ever, end quote. She was also informed by this employee that Coulter had reported to them that he had retained a consultant to begin the hiring process for a new police chief. So without her quitting and without him firing her, beating around the bush, because obviously there's policies and things, rules that he has to abide by that he is looking like he's not abiding by, he's now looking for a new police chief. Oh my God. Oh, God. It just gets worse. The more you read this, the worse it gets. You know what, though? It's about time Stoughton PD gets the shine on, because this clearly has been going on for a long time. On July 13th, 2026, Coulter called and texted McNamara on her cell phone, imploring her to resign. Wait, so you mean to tell me on July 10th, he's alluding to the fact that McNamara is quitting and that he's hiring a consultant to hire to the new process, the new hiring of police chief. And then 3 days later, he's basically being like, you should quit. You should quit. No, because you wanted her to take the easy way out. You wanted her just to leave. You thought that by poking and prodding that she would just fall. This is very much giving Kelly Dever. This is very much reminding me of Dever having that meeting with Commissioner, top dog of Boston Police Department, Commissioner Michael Cox. That one-on-one weird meeting where there was no attorneys present. It was just her and him, of like a newbie, a regular like patrol officer having a one-on-one meeting with the commissioner. And then she may have been influenced, threatened, you may say, to say things during the second Karen Reed trial that she previously stated to federal investigators that she saw Canton Police Chief Berkowitz and Brian Higgins in the Sallyport next to Karen Reed's SUV for, quote, a wildly long time. Why does it seem like there is a pattern when individuals in Norfolk County, because remember, Kelly Dever first worked for Canton PD and then moved to Boston PD, which, by the way, a sidebar, I have noticed some changes of individuals that may begin their career in Canton PD and some things and allegations come out and they move to, in particular, two specific police departments, Boston and Quincy. Quincy is Norfolk County. Quincy is what I lovingly called Morrissey land. Every single time someone talks to the feds, honestly, seems to be like a pattern that some individuals that have connections to other individuals are what appears to be are threatened. Lose your job. You'll be forced to quit. God knows what else. Why don't uppers, Boston Police Department, Norfolk County, why don't these important people want to work with federal investigations? Kind of seems like there may be some things going on that we as the public are not fully aware of yet. And it took John O'Keefe's death at first, which then led to the public really getting into Sandra Birchmore's death, as well as 4 or 5 other cases that are lesser known that I talk about all the time, for us to start doing public records requests so that we can start figuring this shit out. Why don't they want to work with federal investigations? Like I said, on July 13th, 2026, Coulter called and texted McNamara on her cell phone, imploring her to resign. Coulter was aware at the time of this contact that McNamara had retained legal counsel. I'm glad she did. However, he did not care. She did not answer or return these messages. Good, as you shouldn't. He seems like he was losing his cuckoo mind. Later that same day, by an 8:50 p.m. text message, Coulter confirmed his position that McNamara was prohibited from returning to work or entering the police station on or off hours without his approval, that she was to continue using her accrued leave, which he stated he was letting her do as a quote-unquote favor to her. Oh, so he's like tripling down. On or about July 15th, 2026, McNamara, through the undersigned counsel, informed Coulter that she refused to resign and was demanding to return to work. On July 14th, 2026, Coulter again calls McNamara on her cell phone. She did not answer. On July 14th, 2026, Coulter accused McNamara of going to the police station in violation of his orders and instructed department personnel to search the station cameras, and key card system, which they did, and which confirmed McNamara had in fact not been in the police station. So he is just outright accusing her of doing something that she didn't do, which easily, obviously, could have been proven, in which they did. They looked at the cameras and they looked at the key swipes, and she wasn't there. If you didn't want her there, why not take all of her things? Take the cruiser, take all of the police issued things, key card, whatnot, and tell her not to come back. He's giving me the ick. Big ick. I should make that emoji. Ick. On July 14th, 2026, the Stoughton Selectboard, oh Lord, met and upon information and belief took no actions as to McNamara. AKA they could have stepped in and they did nothing. On July 16, 2026, a department employee contacted McNamara to inform her that Coulter was continuing to talk disparagingly about her both inside and outside of the police station. She was informed that Coulter had contacted both police unions and told them, quote, "I don't know who the next chief will be, but it won't be a woman," end quote. Oh boy. Oh boy. If she has evidence, either in writing or testimony, that is a fat ass big win of a lawsuit. That's discrimination. And you can't do that. You can't do that. She was also informed that Coulter had told department personnel that McNamara had until Friday, July 17th, to decide whether to resign, which, as detailed above, was not true. because her decision to decline to resign had already been communicated to Coulter on or about July 15th. Oh my God. On July 17th, 2026, McNamara, through the undersigned counsel, her attorney, made a written demand to the town that she be permitted to return to work. Jesus. On the same date, town council informed McNamara that unless she agreed to resign, the town intended to place her on administrative leave and commence an investigation. However, neither has occurred to date, and this was filed on July 27th. So on what date again? July 17th? Oh. I mean, if you're going to try to do the administrative leave thing and do the investigation, you should have done that earlier than that date. Oh, God. On Monday, July 20th, 2026, McNamara filed a formal harassment complaint with the Select Board against Coulter, alleging that he had been engaging in a pattern of gossip and disparagement against McNamara while also calling and texting her on her cell phone virtually every day for the prior 2 weeks. Also on July 20th, 2026, the Stoughton Selectboard met and took no action as to McNamara's employment. Why are they sitting on their hands? Do something. Hello? It's not like the town of Stoughton elected these people to do something. Now I understand why you all showed up last night. On July 21st, 2026, McNamara lost her access to her work email address. The next day, July 22nd, McNamara learned through the media that another Stoughton Police Department employee, Deputy Chief O'Connor, had been appointed acting police chief of the Stoughton Police Department. Oh, they didn't have the balls to tell her. The media provided no details on who in the town made this appointment or even when and where the decision was made. Hey, whoever is mainstream media reporting that, you should be like, oh, according to so-and-so, $10. I bet you it was Coulter. I mean, he's the one that's been yapping all along. Call him Mr. Yappadoodle Dandy. Jesus. That same day, a member of the department contacted McNamara and informed her of a department-wide email Coulter had sent. Suggesting that she had voluntarily stepped down from her position, which is untrue. Gee, okay, so if Coulter is sending out a department-wide email saying that McNamara stepped down, I wonder who spoke to media. In my opinion, based off this complaint, I think it was Coulter. Also on that same day, McNamara, through undersigned counsel, again her attorneys, questioned the town in writing regarding the lawfulness of the appointment referenced above and made a second demand to return to work. Town council replied in writing stating, a select board meeting is scheduled to be held tomorrow on this matter and that he will be in touch following the meeting. On July 23rd, 2026, the Stoughton Selectboard met and took no action. So that's 3 meetings, friends. My Stoughton friends, if you are electing someone, which the Select Board is, and you see something like this, regardless to how you feel about Police Chief McNamara, or regardless how you feel about Town Manager Coulter. I keep wanting to say Carter. Regardless of your feelings on it, if you elected someone and they're sitting on their hands with something like this, are you going to be happy? It's kind of like electing a district attorney that doesn't have his boys properly investigate unalivings in the county. And then spends millions on cases where trials go nowhere because the investigations were a sham, or trying to say that someone self-unalived themselves when in reality there's plenty of evidence proving otherwise, that then federal investigators have to step in because the district attorney's not doing his goddamn job as an elected official. And now his right-hand man is running for district attorney? Are we supposed to think that they're going to investigate themselves? You've already had that shot, Greg. Like I said, on July 23rd, 2026, the Stoughton Selectboard met and took no action as to McNamara's employment, her complaint against Coulter, or the appointment of the acting police chief referenced above. To date, the town has not issued charges against McNamara, commenced an investigation into her conduct, or placed her on administrative leave. Nevertheless, the town continues to prevent McNamara from performing the position to which she is contractually entitled and required without providing her with any process or explanation for its actions. Upon information and belief, no prior male Stoughton police chief has ever been terminated for a single instance of causing quote unquote stress to a subordinate. Gee, you wouldn't say. You wouldn't say. Oh. And finally, the town has caused and is continuing to cause McNamara severe emotional distress. I could see why. And Coulter's ongoing smear campaign against her is affecting her reputation. I agree with that, which in turn may affect her ability to resume her duties effectively. Just briefly going over the counts that she is suing the town and town manager Tom Coulter for. Obvious breach of contract, that's a given. Also declaratory relief, basically, I haven't been able to do my job, yada, yada. And then the prayer for relief, which is just basically like, give me my attorney's fees and costs, and then any other relief, monies, money, which the court deems appropriate. She wants a jury demand, and that is the lawsuit. The exhibits are mainly just like her contract and whatnot. Let me see. We don't have to go into that because it's not really super necessary. Wow. Wow. On top of that, they also did do a press release, which I'll share that with you guys just to keep things all fair. We're going to keep it fair with the town. Okay. As always, I will zoom in for my friends that like to read along. A press release. Statement from the Town of Stoughton Selectboard. The Select Board is aware of two separate personnel-related complaints that have recently been brought to the town's attention involving Police Chief Donna McNamara and Town Manager Thomas Coulter. The complaints involve separate matters and will be reviewed independently. The board will be placing these matters on the agenda for a meeting on Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. That's tonight, folks, and intends to discuss them in consultation with town council to determine the appropriate process for reviewing the complaints and next steps. Some of you may be wondering why I am not playing this live. It's because it is a executive meeting. What does that mean? That means it's private. That means we as the public can't see it. They're going to be talking about this in private. I wonder why. I wonder why. At this time, the Select Board has not reached any conclusions regarding the allegations raised in either complaint. By the way, I highly doubt, let me see chat for a second. I highly doubt that there has been a release yet after this meeting. I don't know if anything has come out yet while we've been live. So chat, you can let me know what's going on too, and I will keep an eye on my chat and I'll I'll look at it after I'm done with this. Okay. You guys are the best. Thank you for keeping me and my replay crew up to date. Love you, love you, love you. Okay, like they said, at this time, the Select Board has not reached any conclusions regarding the allegations raised in either complaint. The board is committed to ensuring that these matters are addressed in a fair, thorough, and impartial manner. As part of its deliberations, the board expects to consider the appropriate process for reviewing the allegations, including whether an independent review or investigation is warranted, to assist the board in determining what actions, if any, are appropriate and in the best interest of the town, its employees, and its residents. This is very PR coded. This is very much like we're doing our job, promise, even though we've had other select board meetings, 3 of them, we've done nothing. Because there are personnel related matters, the board will continue to be mindful of its legal obligations regarding confidentiality, due process, and the rights of all individuals involved. As such, the board may be limited in what it can publicly discuss while these matters are under review. Well, it certainly seems like your town manager has been yapping. In addition, we have already begun to receive public records requests. Yes. Yes. I love you guys for doing this. In addition, we have already begun to receive public records requests related to these matters and will respond to these requests promptly and in accordance with the Massachusetts Public Records Law, as you should. Just so you guys all know, they're probably going to deny the bulk of you, considering what you're asking about, considering this is an active investigation. I'm just doing this from knowledge of how Canton was moving with some things. So be prepared for some denials, just an FYI. Just be prepared. Any responsive records, responsive records will be reviewed as required by law, and records determined to be subject to public disclosure will be made available through the town's website where appropriate. So if there's a public records request that can be answered, you're going to put it on the town's website? Okay, we'll see. We are hopeful that making publicly available any records that are required to be disclosed will assist in providing additional information and addressing questions whether these matters remain under review. So we're going to release the 2024, the second internal affairs investigation, right? We're going to release that to the public because that concerns public safety, right? And you're not going to redact officers' names, right? Because it's about public safety. Right? Chat, they're going to redact the cops' names. I can already tell. The Select Board appreciates the patience and understanding of the town's residents, employees, and all others following these matters. The board will provide additional information as appropriate and as permitted by law as the review process moves forward. Mm-hmm. Let me scroll up to chat for a second. I want to see if anyone has any updates regarding the town for a second. So replay crew, feel free to fast forward for a second because I just want to see if anyone... Oh, hi, Corey. Speaking of public records, hello. Give me 1 second. Yes, and like I told you guys at the beginning of the stream, thank you, Allie, for being kind, as well as E-Chase. There are certain words that I have to bounce around and can't say. That also goes for chat as well. So please be careful what you say, including your words in the chat. Thank you so much. Okay, don't see anything yet. Let me see. Let me see. Thank you for being patient if you are on replay crew. Okay, I don't see anything yet. Okay. Also, too, if you guys do find anything, feel free to like throw it into a minor super chat and that pops up right away for me, okay? Like just give $1.99 or something so I could see it. Okay. Taking a little mental break for a second because that took forever. That took forever. Okay, Nancy Can, I got you last time. Where am I starting? Ms. Nancy! Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, Nancy, I apologize. I just know Emily C. saw this and started laughing. She said, thank you for all you do for the community. Can you please unblock me on the Twitter, please? Yes, yes, yes. I am so sorry. It is a running joke that I block everyone, Nancy. I apologize. I apologize. Sometimes I just go a little too ham. I'm sorry. If you could drop your @ so my mods can catch it, and I'll make sure to unblock you. I apologize. Truly, I'm sorry. It's a me problem, not a you problem. And H to Florida, thank you for the silver star. Oh, Archie sent a duckling. Thank you. You can drop the ducks in chat to my members. Relative Dimension Joe, turn it up. By the way, chat, we're not done. I told you I've got some breaking news after this, okay? VM, CYK, the plot thickens, or the plot sickens. I actually like that. Can I use that from now on? The plot sickens. Thank you. Kitty Cat Florida sends an uncler. Thank you so much. Christian Harris, let him cook. Let him cook, baby. Christian Harris, thank you so much for becoming a member. You're gonna have a lot of fun with us. We have a good time here. Proud of mom of 2 girls. Girl power. Hell yeah. Hell to the yeah. Matt Mello says, Ms. Boozey, you are an all-star. A go. Oh, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all of your hard work, research, devotion, and your valuable time you put into these cases and issues. And this is why I say when we get these public records requests or we get a minor statement from someone, it may not seem like a big thing, but once you start putting all of the pieces together, you see just how important it can be. Who would have thought that a town manager who is in Stoughton now, was in Kingston prior, also at one point worked essentially for Morrissey, when you think about it. He was hired by the town, but in order for him to get things specifically regarding public safety, law enforcement, and all the things, he had to suck up, in a way, to Morrissey. And he's still doing that now as the Stoughton town manager. That obviously is basically like part of the boss, as you could say, of the Stoughton police chief. And now basically still has to suck up to the DA Morrissey of Norfolk County to make sure that things go their way. It is so colluded. It is so corrupt. And we still, if there's still naysayers that still aren't understanding what's going on here, just wait. You just wait. Wait till the election. See what happens. Let's see how people keep moving until September 1st and then immediately afterwards. Because if we're seeing anything right now, people are trying their damnedest to make it seem like they look good. Or oh, I did it again. Surprise. Or make it seem like, they're not involved. I'm not involved in all of the things, right? That's when you're going to start seeing people starting to blame one another. Higgy, babe. Higgy, you need your own attorney. You need your own attorney. Oh, my friend Mullen-Law, hello. Also became a YouTube member. Oh, yeah. I'm getting all the ladies tonight. Yeah, this is ladies' night. And the feeling's right. This is ladies' night. All right. Leah, no, you didn't. Leah, thank you. Leah says, we heard from Deitch, Adam Deitch. I'm sure you all know who he is by now. Former federal prosecutor investigator who investigated the police investigation of the murder investigation of John O'Keefe, who left his job as a very well-paying prosecutor to run for district attorney, right? We heard from Deitch how hard it is for the feds to prosecute murder. That's the state's job. Correct. Feds had to find a way to charge Farwell. Exactly. They could bring RICO charges, racketeering, influence and corruption Ord Act. McNamara needs to be protected. I agree. I get into a little bit more of that too coming up. Leah, you're ahead of me, but I love this. Melly Girl states, Boozey, corruption everywhere. Yep. I live in Wisconsin, right? Yes. I live in Wisconsin. Corruption here too. It's disgusting. Lawsuits happening near me for a mayor hiding money from the city. I go back to Morrissey donating 20 grand to his former PR guy, David Traub, who, by the way, I forgot to mention this earlier, another sidebar, was in communications with journalist Gretchen Voss, who just did that, what I would call a hit piece against Karen Reed, Aidan Carney, the federal investigation, and Adam Deitch. And David Traub, who was in these communications with Gretchen Voss, was like, oh yeah, we should go out for a burger after all this is done. So now David Traub is getting 20 grand from Michael Morrissey's campaign fund. And at the same time, you have this article come out with Gretchen Voss and they've all been communicating. It's like I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Oy, 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 oy. Undercover Angel. So you're actually really a devil? I kind of love that. Sends a silver star. Thank you. Thank you. J9 Sween sends a happy poop. Thank you. Thank you. Allison, my friend. Hello, hello. A loot box. Money, money, money. I'm just like picturing like me as like a pirate. Thanks, Allison. J9 Sween also sends a girl power. I love this. I love that there's a girl power thing too. Oh my God. And you become a YouTube member. Thank you for being here. I love this. We're killing it. Kimberly Bennett sends a thumbs up. Thank you. As well as a flower. Thank you so much. Ms. Nancy. Ooh, town hall is still in session. Yes. Thank you, Nancy. I have eyes there. Yes. Love you so much. Place is packed. Maybe more than last night. No way. Oh, T. I love this. Thank you, Nancy. Again, let me know what your Twitter handle is, and E-Chase or Emily or someone in chat will find it. Oh my God. Music to My Soul, member for 1 month. Release the balloons for 18K subscribers. Oh my God, I'm at 18? Okay, can I do it? Can I do it again? Is it this? What do I do? Crap, now I look like a crazy person. Huh? That? Is it this? When I do... Things never work out when I want them to work out. It always comes when it just wants to come. Yeah. And then Jojo sends a finger heart. Eee, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, friends. Okay. And just because I see this all the time in chat, all the time, I need everyone to start recognizing that this is not one party or the other. The issue with Massachusetts is that there's only one party. We see this across all of the states that are one party. It does not matter if it's Democratic or Republican. The problem is that there's no checks and balances. And dare I say, you could still have Republicans working with Democrats. This has nothing to do with party and everything to do with one party, a one-party state where there's no checks and balances, while everyone is doing scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. That's the problem. This is not because of one singular political party. This is a bunch of asshats who have a lot of power, who abuse that power. To me, what looks like they're all protecting one another. That's the issue here. I'm just happy this is all coming out before the election. Remember what was outside of Michael Proctor's sister's house, Courtney Proctor? A Greg Conner for district attorney side. Also need a reminder that Michael now lives, what I've been told, with his sister Courtney. His house officially hit the market today too, friends. Just an FYI. There were some people that were like, it's not on the market, it's not on the market. It hit the market today. So if you want to buy a $800,000 house where Proctor used to live, There you go. Okay. I did make notes. Like I said, they are in, I guess from what chat says, select board is still in their executive meeting. So if we ever get an update on that, I will make sure I pull it if I'm still live. But there is another filing out of this lawsuit, and it's kind of a big deal. So let me explain that briefly to you guys as well. Again, this came from Grant, so please make sure you subscribe to him because he has been like an incredible boots on the ground journalist. Man, have the tides turned. So what we have here, make it big again for you friends. So what Donna essentially filed for, in layman's terms, asking the judge, can you please help me out right now because this crap has gone on for too long and I just need you to help me out. I cannot wait any longer given the circumstances and the allegations. Specifically, it is labeled as plaintiff, who, if we scroll up, plaintiff is Police Chief Donna McNamara. Plaintiff's motion for preliminary injunctive relief and short order of notice. Now comes the plaintiff, Donna McNamara, who hereby moves this court to issue an injunction preventing defendants, the town and town manager, from continuing to materially breach its employment agreement by prohibiting her, without explanation or appropriate process, from performing the job that she is contractually entitled to as required under the agreement. The plaintiff respectfully requests that this court sustain this motion and order the defendants to comply with the plaintiff's employment agreement and restore her work status, or in the alternative, provide the plaintiff with an explanation and process for their actions as required under the agreement, aka judge. I need you to tell these mofos to either let me go in and do my damn job like I'm supposed to, or I need in writing an explanation of what exactly is going on here. Because it seems like that's not what's happening. You are not abiding by the town policy. Which thankfully, the judge ruled on almost immediately. Literally almost immediately. So, Chief McNamara has been granted an emergency hearing for this Friday, July 31st at 10 a.m. in Norfolk County Superior Court. And guess who's going to be there? Yeah, friends. I will be in attendance to catch all the things that the cameras may not. Because if there's one thing we have realized is that even if you've got a pool camera in there, there usually tends to be things that don't get caught on camera. Either the feed starts late, the mics mess up, something happens. So I'm going to be there. I am not missing this for the life of me. Crazy though. Crazy. Now, we're almost there, friends. Some of you are probably still wondering, oh, but what else about this federal investigation? Is that it? Huh? Is that it? No, of course that's not it, friends. Like I said previously, the feds had to step in for Sandra Birchmore's case. And we've obviously been seeing a ton of filings, in particular this last year, because of the upcoming trial in October. Obviously, Matt Farwell is trying to get it dismissed. He's doing all of the things. Well, thankfully, because he wants to get the case dismissed, in his defense, his attorneys have been, we'll say, yapping, have been talking. in these filings. And this is what we recently found out. Let's read this together. As of June 2026, the government has provided more than 286,000 286,000 pages of discovery related to the charge. Over 43 hours of audio and videotaped evidence, and a voluminous digital extractions. The reports for which total over, holy moly, 750,000 pages. Now, Farwell's attorney continues on with this tidbit. Again, reminder, this is his defense attorney. Notwithstanding the volume of discovery, nowhere does the government set forth sufficient facts related to the elements of the charged offense, which requires a federal nexus. What they're trying to say in layman's terms is that the feds need to have specific charges in order to bring forth a federal charge. And they are trying to say that what they charged him with is not proper. Okay. It's honestly the only shot that they have at this case being dismissed, truly. It's the only way. And guess what? It's not working. Judge Casper is not having it. The federal judge on this case is not having it. Thankfully, a fair judge, shock. His defense attorney goes on to state, moreover, where the federal government appears to have conducted over 50% of all law enforcement witness interviews after Mr. Farwell was charged and arrested, with some interviews conducted as recently as April 2026. What I get from that sentence is when they arrested Farwell in 2024, right? I think it's 2024. They didn't need 50% of those law enforcement witness interviews to make this arrest. They had enough evidence. But not only that, we also learned, doubling down, that they've been still investigating and questioning law enforcement as of April 2026. Given those specific law enforcement witness interviews, is it possible that the police chief of Stoughton, Donna McNamara, who, like she said, has been open and working with federal investigators, was told things based off of these law enforcement witness interviews? So this is now two separate confirmations that federal investigators are still operating in Norfolk County. On top of that, after the April 6th filing, where the public learned that there was DNA on the ligature that asphyxiated Birchmore, 2 days later, the supervisor of Fanning and Bukhenik, an officer by the name of Brian Tully, where is he? Put in his retirement papers. April 6th, we got this whole filing with even more details about the investigation, the federal investigation of Birchmore. 2 days later, Tully puts in his papers for retirement. I remember when I first reported this on Twitter, there were some that were saying, well, usually these retirement papers are like long incoming. They don't just up and retire. Do you guys know how long federal investigation of Sandra Birchmore has been going on? You don't think if there has been law enforcement witness interviews ongoing in Stoughton or elsewhere that also includes current and former Stoughton Police Department officers that may commingle with these boys, Bukhenik, Fanning, Tully. You don't think they're going to tip each other off and have conversations? If we go back to one of the Karen Reed civil hearings, when Karen's team was trying to get the records of Sean Good, and in particular, she wanted to use it in her lawsuit. The town's attorney was essentially saying, well, the investigation of Sergeant Sean Good is still ongoing. Their main argument was, we don't want to give it to Karen Reed and her team because of this investigation. And in layman's terms, they didn't want to tip off other personnel that they were still have yet to interview. It's common with these types of investigations where if there is a certain targets, not only will federal investigators or just even state investigators withhold certain things, but that's also, they will maybe drop a couple of pins to see, like I said, how people move afterwards. So it's not unbeknownst to any of us why Brian Tully would randomly, how old is Tully? Mid-40s? Would randomly want to retire. Out of the blue. As a reminder, Brian Tully was the commanding officer of the investigative police unit that Fanning, Bukhenik, and Proctor worked for. It was under his leadership that Sandra Birchmore's death was ruled a self-unaliving. And just as the public learned of the critical evidence that proved Sandra did not harm herself, Tully seemingly ran for the hills. Someone else, in my opinion, has ran for the hills. I was tagged in this right before I went live, so I want to thank my friend Blank Space on Twitter. I need to make myself small. Where do I do that? This small? No, I want to go small, small. There we go. Someone else out of Morrissey's boys has since ran for the hills. Oh. Another one of the Norfolk County, Massachusetts State Police troopers, Nicholas Guarino. If you watched Trial 1 or 2, you are very familiar with Nick Guarino. What does he do? He was essentially the phone extractor. We'll just call him the phone extractor of the Norfolk County State Troopers. He, of course, has very much tried to have a hands-off approach to all of this, especially in Trial 2 of Karen Reed. He literally would put his hands out like this and say, I just did the phone extraction. I had nothing to do with the investigation. Which I can believe. I can believe that. I can believe Guarino in both the O'Keefe and Birchmore investigations was simply told, here's a phone, do your thing. I can also see some things going behind the scenes where he's told to only pull certain things, which is how he may have missed tens and thousands of texts and data and all the thing in Sandra Birchmore's devices. This is why it doesn't always necessarily mean, in this case, in Guarino's case, that he's like so corrupt and worse the worse if he is only following orders. However, that also gives a good case of plausible deniability. If you didn't know Guarino's circumstances, he actually, was it 2024 or 2025? He actually was in a accident and had been put on leave for some time. And if you were watching him walking in to either the second Karen Reed trial or the Brian Walsh trial, you saw him with his limp. That man was in pain. So I could also see why he was retiring, because he literally can't do his job as normal. I get that. You can't do the job that you wanted to do, so you retire. But like I said, the timing of all of these retirements and resignations, especially in spring and summer of 2026, with everything collectively that has come out about Norfolk County, is very, very questionable. Some might say, Guarino just couldn't do the job and that's why he retired. But the fact that it comes at this time, and there's a whole lot of them that are moving right now, we as a public can reasonably question that. Now, if we're going back to Donna McNamara in particular, pull up her photos. You guys remind yourselves who she is. Oh, too big. Here we go. Similar to my feelings within the Canton Police Department, I have always thought that those within Stoughton Police Department knew more about the Birchmore tragedy. And I'm being so honest with you guys. I personally do not see how you could be surrounded by these men and not see anything. Because predatory men are obvious, especially those who acted like Matt Farwell, Billy Farwell, and Robert Devine. But there eventually does come a time when you have to make a choice. And unlike former Canton Police Chief Helena Rafferty, who made obvious choices. If you didn't see my live stream in particular about the Canton Police Sallyport video footage and how she moved within Canton Police regarding that video footage, check it out. Rafferty made big choices. Big F-up choices. In my opinion, which looks like to protect herself, her employees, and the reputation of her deceased friend, former Chief Berkowitz. In my opinion, it looks like Police Chief Donna McNamara from Stoughton decided to go the other route. Thankfully. Which is good, because she made the correct choice to work hand in hand with federal investigators, not only to help push for federal charges against Matt Farwell, who, by the way, was one of her employees, but also as recently as last month when she noted that more internal affairs investigations may and should be opened up for current and former Stoughton police officers. Again, her own employees. An investigation that could include John Fanning, if it pans out in an internal affairs investigation that he is more involved regarding some of the Birchmore allegations. Of course, who I consider, I always call them one of Morrissey's boys. So, it is of my opinion that I commend Chief McNamara for seemingly choosing to do the right thing, especially when surrounded by a bunch of ass-hat pedo protectors who are banking on the system to do what has always done: silence those who dare to try to seek the truth. So, I have consistently gone back and forth with how I have felt about Chief McNamara, and I've been very public about it. I have questioned her, and I don't fully understand it. But like I said, there comes a point in time where you have to make a decision. And unfortunately for Chief McNamara, it seems like the town manager, who is trying to push her out, as well as at least one other current other employee, could be others. We don't know yet. We'll see what's to come forth with select board hearings in this lawsuit. But when force comes to shove and you're forced to make a decision, she's choosing to help out federal investigators. And I'm sure that is going against the wishes of many of the men that are in the county that have positions of power, including Michael Morrissey. So, with that being said, because she has done so much work on the federal investigative side of it all, I do want to point out, I'm pretty sure I have a little clip for you guys of the district attorney debate, and it's very relevant as to what's been happening now in Stoughton. Enjoy, Adam Deitch.
As a district attorney in Norfolk County, I want to lead an office that is capable of walking and chewing gum at the same time. At the U.S. Attorney's Office, I specialized in public corruption cases and prosecuted police corruption cases, and worked alongside outstanding members of law enforcement who investigated those cases. And I've seen the look on the good cops when they uncover the conduct of the bad ones. And the good ones, despite what's been going on in this county for far too long, the good ones far outnumber the bad ones. But I mentioned an anti-corruption task force earlier because it's not easy for a DA's office to prosecute police cases, because police officers, by virtue of their job, have relationships with folks at the DA's office. There's a way to do it, and there's a smart, modern way to do it by isolating an ADA and isolating investigators to do these kinds of cases. I will say that I would not trust anyone who's been part of Michael Morrissey's leadership team to handle conflicts of interest in Norfolk County.
Thank you.
Everything that I went over tonight in this live stream and the connection between these two men, would you trust anyone right now that's worked for Morrissey or with Morrissey to actually investigate Stoughton Police Department? Would you? I wouldn't. As a resident of Norfolk County, absolutely not. I don't trust any of you. And rightfully so, because it seems like no one is doing anything, at least on the state side. Not the district attorney, and not all the higher ups. The attorney general, the governor, no one. No one. So what are we supposed to think as residents? Flabbergasted. And you heard Adam Deitch when he said public corruption task force. That's what we need. Can you trust the men that have worked around Morrissey? That includes Greg Connor. In this instance, to work with Police Chief McNamara on this issue, do you genuinely think that's going to happen? No. In my opinion, no. So, what is very important, what's actually happened, considering this completely surrounds the Sandra Birchmore case. The Justice for Sandra Birchmore family, as well as the advocates for her cause, like my friend Mizzy. Hi, Mizzy. They have recently, as last week, started publicly supporting Adam Deitch for district attorney. To note, of course, Deitch, who is a former federal prosecutor who helped work on the O'Keefe and Birchmore federal investigations, has been the only candidate to publicly say that not only does he not agree with either of these states' outcomes, aka the state investigations, but that he will and plans to, if he is elected, reopen both cases. Not only is he promising to reopen cold cases within Norfolk County, but he also wants to hire special assistant district attorneys to solely work on these cases. And if there's any conflict of interest, that, of course, would bypass any of that. Adam would not be involved in the investigations. In which he says, from the public support of Justice for Sandra Birchmore, he says, I am honored to have the endorsement of Barbara, Melissa, and so many others in the Justice for Sandra Birchmore movement. What happened to Sandra Birchmore was an unspeakable tragedy, a profound miscarriage of justice at the state level, and a glaring example of why we need fundamental change in the district attorney's office. As district attorney, I will work tirelessly to deliver the justice that Sandra's family deserves and ensure nothing like this happens to another family in Norfolk County again. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, you guys, looking into these cases absolutely can be emotionally taxing. I know a lot of you locally are having trouble watching, just like the Lindsay Clancy case, given the allegations. I understand it's not easy. However, I always want to be the space where we can try to openly speak about these issues in a, I don't want to say professional because I don't consider myself a professional, but at least in a way where it's not going to be so triggering for, I know some of you that have been through similar circumstances. I have some final thank yous I need to say too. I don't see any updates regarding the select board meeting yet in Stoughton. So I'm sure if they're still talking about it in the executive session, I don't know if they're going to be coming out with anything tonight. And like Nancy said, who is a Stoughton resident, don't know what exactly is going on. I want to say thank you to JoJo for the gold coin. I appreciate you. Thank you to Jen for the flower. I gotta know it. Wasn't Guarino hit by a car on duty? He was. Which is kind of like, it's a very interesting turn of events, because what do you mean you are like the phone extraction data guy? And even though you say, Guarino, you had less involvement with the John O'Keefe investigation and the Birchmore investigation, but then you get hit by a car yourself. By the way, do you guys know what kind of injuries Guarino suffered? If you were thinking lower body, lower extremity, you're right. Because that's what happens. Even if you are quote unquote clipped, the way that physics work is that you initially fall into the object. And in this case, that would have been the SUV. I digress. I gotta know what also says, are y'all checking voter registration important? Yeah. I have spoken to, because just so you know, there's 6 Democrats and September 1st is the election. It is not in November. I'm going to keep saying that. The election is in September 1st. I've spoken to quite a many of those on the other side that are Republicans, and they're nervous to kind of like quote unquote switch teams, I guess you could say. However, if you want a chance to vote in this election, that's the only way you're going to do it. You have to switch over to be a Democrat just temporarily in order to vote in this election. That's it. That's the only way you can vote. I know it's messed up, but that's just how it goes. It's just how it goes. It is what it is. Okay. So I don't see any updates about the select board. Let me check the chat again one last time, because I always want to make sure I can keep you guys the most up to date. Look, everyone's saying like, oh, lower extremity. Let me see. I haven't seen anything. Nancy, I see you in chat too. I don't see anything yet from other residents. Yep, still going on. Yeah, I think they're going to be they're probably arguing in the back, or they're probably trying to figure out what the hell do we do? We really messed up. Yeah, because now you got me talking about it. And I have had on average 1,700 this entire time on this live stream. So, Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, thank you, BN Trouble. By the way, thank you for being so amazing, BN. I love seeing you in chat. My favorite tail light whisperer. BN Trouble reminds us you have to do it at least 10 days before the election. Correct. I just say just do it now. Just do it now. Why not? Okay. Like I say, I haven't. Fire Calter. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You guys are here the entire time. You get it. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it. Truly, BN, I wish you all the best. You guys, BN has been a wealth of knowledge, specifically for me and my research about the John O'Keefe case. But yes, make sure you guys, if you are a county resident, you are registered. Just switch to Democrat so you can vote, please, just so we can not have Greg Connor as district attorney, because he's not going to do shit. You should be able to do everything online. You should. Yes, you should be able to. They've also been sending out mailers and stuff too, just so you guys know. So everything, and if you're not getting mailers, you can go on, let me see. I will get the actual website for you guys. Hold on. MA elector. I got it. Voter registration. There, you can check online your voter registration. Please make sure you do that. I literally just checked mine. Where the heck is this website? Check Massachusetts. Hold on. You guys are funny. No, you rock. Oh my God, not the rock again. We won't talk about the rock. Election. Voter registration. There we go. There we go. Okay. Check your voter registration status. Okay, it is sec.state.ma.us. Why can't they just do a normal website? Why can't they just do a normal website? You can even just Google it yourself. What did I Google? Check Massachusetts voter registration. They'll ask for your basic information. They'll ask for typically like your license number, and then you'll be able to check it. And then you can change it online. The sooner you do it, the better. The sooner you do it, the better. Rocky goes jury tampering. Chad? Okay. All right. Meatballs. Boozey, you coming to Pontoon Weekend? I'll talk to you privately about that, Skitty Stain. She's like, come on the pontoon. Come on the pontoon. Anyways, I don't see any other questions from chat. Look at this. Are we going to get this done in 3 hours? Look at me, chat. I'm not doing a 5-hour live stream again. Oh, friends. Okay. I do want you to, I want to end on a good note. And of course, it goes back to Sandra, because I think that's what all this is stemming from. You know, if it wasn't for her death, what would have come of all of this? If it wasn't for the death of John O'Keefe, would there actually be a federal investigation of Sandra Birchmore's case? You know? Oh, people are asking if you can be an independent. I'm almost, hold on. Let me ask my Google just to confirm for you guys. In Massachusetts, can you be registered independent or unenrolled to vote in Democratic primary? Hang on. Double checking. Party enrollment. Oh, here we go. Party enrollment. Oh, I like this. You don't need to enroll in a party to vote in a primary in Massachusetts. All registered voters can participate. There you go. See, you don't even need to be Democrat. If you're a registered Republican, you don't even need to switch. You just got to go to independent. So it says, if you are registered in one party, however, you can't vote in another party's primary, i.e., this is going to be a Democratic run, people. If you are registered Republican, you cannot vote in this primary. So what you have to do, it says you can vote in the party primary of your choice if you are registered as unenrolled, often called independent, or you're registered as a Democrat. Of course, if you want to change your party to vote in a different party's primary, you'll need to update your voter registration at least 10 days before the primary. There's even a link here, and it's linked up. It says check your party enrollment before the voter registration deadline. You can make a party change online, by mail, or in person at your local election office. You can also do early voting. You can also do mail-in voting. No excuses. No excuses. And I'm telling you all right now, we are in what? The end of July 29th. This election is September 1st. There's only going to be more that comes out between now and September 1st. And let me say it like this. The people that benefit from us not knowing things are the people that want to stick to the old ways, we'll say. Now, my question is, are you comfortable with the old ways? Are you comfortable, residents of Stoughton? Are you comfortable knowing that there was another internal affairs investigation opened up in 2024 that was brought to the town manager that he obviously did not like, claimed it was a hit piece on the department, and told your police chief to shut it down? Are you comfortable with knowing the fact that there are allegations against current Stoughton officers surrounding allegations around the Birchmore of it all, and they're still being paid by your taxpayer dollars? And it seems like it was brought to the town manager's attention, and probably others, considering that he has quite the relationship with Morrissey. And he just wants it to go away. Are you okay with that? Me personally, I don't live in Stoughton. I'm a county resident. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Seems like the only people that would be comfortable with that and would prefer that other people that might have their reputations damaged or worse if this information came to light. By the way, it's going to come to light. Hell or high water, it's going to come out. There's too many of us that care. Oh, well, don't work for the government then. All right, some final thank yous, and then I'm going to leave you with a note from Sandra Birchmore's cousin. I want to thank you, Bev's Dizzy Glasses. What a username. That is great. I love that so much. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. I appreciate you. Kathy Crawford, you too. Thank you for becoming a member. This is so great, by the way, that I have members for 1 month, and you guys stuck around. All of my 1 monther anniversariers. The kind Oracle Lala, always vote. Yes, yes, yes. The best way that your voice can be heard is by voting. And this election, when we have 6 Democrats voting, I kid you not, it is so important to frickin' vote. Don't let what's it called? Don't let the holiday scare you away. Do the early voting. Do the mail-in voting. I'm not even kidding you guys. Do you want to see a state investigation of John O'Keefe's case? Do you want to see a state case of Sandra Birchmore? The other cases I can talk about, Just en Route, Chris McCallum, Keith Boudreau. Do you want to see these cases get expanded upon? Or are you okay with the way that it is now? Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the cat. Oh my God, this is incredible. You guys are like, no, Boozey says she's going to leave and I'm not going to allow it. Who in movement is focusing elections? I don't know what you mean. I gotta know it. But you have 2 cute dogs. Oh my God. What are they? Are they like cute mutts? Like cute little rescue mutts? Because they're so adorable. I love their ears. There I go with the dogs again. Every single time you guys have dogs. Lori, thank you for the sparkles. This is incredible. I love you guys so much. Miss Pris, member for 1 month? Heck yeah. Woohoo. Day 1. 1 month for me too. Love you guys. Truly, you guys are so friggin' amazing. Lori, again, with the silver star. Thank you so much. Oh, Sandra, I think it's Sandra. Member for 1 month. You are on fire, Boozey. I told you I'm just getting started. I told you. And the more we find out, the more I'm going to add it to the puzzle, friends. I have a lot that I put on the back burner because of some other things that I'm waiting on. But thank you so much for being here. And Brenda Doyle with the Sunday. Oh, so good. So good. So good. Okay, friends. I love you so much. I know this is incredible. Lori said 1,500 watching, 1,500 likes. I've never seen that. I don't know what I've done for you guys to be so kind to me. I say this every single live stream. Honestly, I don't know what I've done. You know, I've been poking and doing the things behind the scenes on TikTok, recently on Twitter the last like year and a half, and now I'm officially on YouTube where I can talk more. And oh, she's a talker. But you guys are just amazing. Like those numbers are incredible. Like it just goes to show that you guys like being here, which I appreciate, truly. I can't say thank you enough. You're the best. The YouTube algorithm got us here. I love that. I love that. Thank you, E. Chase. Thank you. Oh, as well as Enrique. The only reason why I don't say Enrique is because he's just not a part of Norfolk County. That's all. So this election wouldn't have anything to do with Enrique's case, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Maybe on the federal side. Who knows? Did you just say, Melanie trained me well to like it? The cupcakes. I love you guys. You guys are so funny. Oh, all the haters are pissed right now after yet another successful stream. Awesome time. Thank you. Thank you. Vote Adam Deitch, AD for AD. No, you are amazing. You are amazing. Stones, Boozey. Thank you. Thank you, Stones. Thank you. Oh, and Colleen's another old friend. Thank you so much. You like it when I talk. Thank you. Okay. I am like the worst. I'm the worst at saying goodbye. Literally. Oh, yes. And thank you to my beautiful modder, E. Chase, who's reminding you all, even replay crew, if you're watching this now, after the live is over, or if you're watching a replay, come back and hype the stream. You need to be on mobile to do so. I'm glad you understand that because I certainly do not. I do not. Okay. What are you saying, Lieutenant Penn's dispenser, Tully? As a girl with ADHD, I find it very difficult to do BS like change parties for a day. If I, who is not a well woman, can do it, so can you. Yes. If us with ADHD can do all the things, if I can get on here and yap in a somewhat organized manner for 5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours, you can change to independent or unenrolled for a day to vote. Not just all. And I support the cupcakes. God bless Melanie for covering Lindsay Clancy. It's a lot. That's a heavy one. Okay, guys, I love you, love you, love you. I'm going to end on no Aunt BB. BB. Aunt BB is the best. For those of you who don't know, her and I kind of go back with all of the live streams of it all. She's so kind and cute dogs. BB says, just a little something towards your trip Friday to get us the tea. Thank you. Thank you. Much like Grant 2, I'm hoping I can cover a large portion of the federal case, the Sandra Birchmore federal case, because there's no cameras in the courtroom, at least not of yet. Things are working on, I guess, there's a case where they're trying to get cameras involved in the federal courtrooms. But as of right now, there's no cameras allowed. So anything in the federal courts is so important to be reported on. That's why I went to the federal hearing in the Karen Reed lawsuit, where she's suing everyone in their personal capacity. Tully, Bukhenik, Proctor, McCabe's, Higgins, Alberts, etc. As well as this federal case coming up. It's going to be huge to have locals, boots on the ground. So I plan on being there too. So that's going to go towards my parking, because it's going to be expensive. Not only is there traffic, parking is expensive in Boston. If you didn't know that. Florida girl, hello, member for 1 month. Somehow I missed the alert. Congrats on 1 month. Thank you. Make sure you go back, because this was another thorough, involved live stream. Trying to connect more dots for all of us. When I connect dots for myself, guys, I bring it to you. Okay? And that's all I'm going to do. Once I've got solid connecting, I want to always bring it to you guys, so that we as a public can try to make some more informed decisions and go into these elections actually knowing things. They only benefit when we don't know the things, okay? Just always remember that. Being informed is not a bad thing, okay? So, oh, wait, is there an update? Hold on. Wait, hold on. Jen, this is what I get for being a talker, Jen. By the way, hello. I hope you're doing good, Jen. Tea. Well, before I was about to log off, we get a update. Thank you, Jen, for the update from the hearing, select board hearing, the executive session, where they went behind the scenes in private, the select board, to discuss the matter with Police Chief McNamara, as well as the town manager, administrator, Tom Calder. Jen is reporting to us that both are on paid leave. I think that's fair. Given everything, that is fair. Very fair. And Jen also says both are under independent review. I am so curious if it's going to be a review from the select board, town council, or if they're going to get an independent investigator. Let me, wow. Okay. Jen says yes. Huh. Okay, let's see if there's any other info. Jen, thank you so much for being boots on the ground. Let me see. B Crumbs, I agree. Independent investigation with oversight should be done. I agree. Quinn. Now let's see how independent the C. You guys get it. See? See. I told you. It pays. Yeah, who do we know who's doing the review? No 5 stones. No 5 stones. No, not after what they said about John O'Keefe's case. You want to talk about an independent audit? Horse poop. Oh, yeah. They literally went in there thinking that Karen did it. Ask me how I know. Calder was in Kingston tonight on vacation? Yeah, didn't he claim he was on vacation? That's the reason why he couldn't go to. That's why he couldn't go to last night's select board meeting, but now he's back? Huh. Yes. Yes. So covered this briefly earlier. There will be a hearing in the lawsuit already, an emergency hearing this Friday at 10 a.m. in Norfolk County Superior Court. We're going back to Dedham, babes. We're going back to Dedham. This is the shit that never ends. Nancy confirms. Thank you so much. Yes, I was just chatting. Awesome. Wow. Huh. Chat is saying independent my butt. Let's hope that it's objective. I agree. See, we all have the same thoughts. Coulter's not on vacation. He was hiding in the basement. Why do they always hide in the basement? Why? Ha. KV is on vacation. He's on the select board and is running for state rep. Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, no. I'm sorry, no. None of you should be voting for people that are on Canton Selectboard or on Stoughton Selectboard. I'm sorry. Mike Loughran? No. 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 He's on staycation. Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we were able to get this update. Thank you so much, Jen. And also Nancy too. Nancy too. You guys both kind of confirmed me. Oh my God. Okay. Well, what an interesting way to end this live stream. Oh, and like the live stream. I hate when I do that. You know who the other two candidates are? Mike Loughran and Lisa Lopez. Shit show. Oh, screwed. Norfolk County screwed. I like Lucky Loughran. Can we vote for Lucky? He's not on the ballot, friends. I know. Leave Lucky alone. If you're watching, love you, bud. Anyways, I want to end us, like I said, on a high note, because as you know, I'm voting for Adam Deitch. And like I just said before we got this update, plow daddy for DA chat. Okay. You guys are cracking me up. All right. I need to get out of here. All right. Like I said, Justice for Sandra Birchmore, her advocates and some family members have recently came out to publicly support Adam Deitch for Norfolk County District Attorney. So I do want to play that little brief from Barb, who I adore. I love Barb so much. Miss you, friend. And I know Mizzy will be watching this at some point in time. So again, please take everything that I've given you today to come to your own conclusions. You can do your own research, look more into it if you have to. But I'm telling you right now, the town administrator of Stoughton, his background with Morrissey goes really far. So please make sure you remember that as you do vote on September 1st, or early voting, or mail-in. Anyways, here is Barb and her nice little moment with Adam Deitch.
My name is Barbara Wright, and I was Sandra Birchmore's cousin. We were told it was a suicide, and I didn't believe it because I knew Sandra. I knew she was so excited about life. She had a lot going on. The Norfolk County District Attorney's Office has not delivered justice. They've denied justice for Sandra Birchmore. I am supporting Adam Deitch for District Attorney because I feel he's got the background and the know-how to make the changes that we need in Norfolk County. I think he can bring it.
Do you want to vote for the same old, my friends? Or do you actually want to see change? Do you want to vote for a candidate that has this person's support?
What do you want to say to anyone who believes the narrative, the defense's narrative, that you are corrupt, that you framed Karen Reed?
I laugh because it's such a ridiculous accusation. There's not one piece of evidence or fact to support that, because it did not happen. I would never do something like that.
Did you crack the taillight to make it look a certain way?
Absolutely not.
Did you frame Karen Reed?
Absolutely not.
Drink your water. Half of your body weight in ounces per day. Get your sleep. Please be nice to all of the pets. Cats, dogs, gerbils, fishes, all the things. And please, 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 never, ever, ever, ever be a Proctor defender. Bye, guys. Love you.